Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna, welcoming everyone to today's program. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamine Namah. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vancha Kalpataru Yascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to all assembled Vaishnavas and koti pranams to Gurudev, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who has also logged in on this program. Today we are meeting for the sad occasion of Shraddhanjali, or memorial service of our dear departed Vaishnav brother, His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu. He has been a wonderful, magnanimous devotee, a pillar of the Mumbai congregation, and he has departed all too soon at the young age of 64 years. And we are really missing his presence among us today. I am actually totally unqualified to conduct such an august ceremony. So please forgive me for any shortcomings or offenses or mistakes. My only reason or qualification to be here is to show my deep love, respect, and gratitude to dear Vamshidhar Prabhu, who I treated as a very dear brother. Vamshidhar Prabhu's presence in our Vaishnav community was enormous. He was like an iceberg, huge, but Radha Gopinath Mandir just saw the tip of the iceberg. His presence was huge in our congregation. And in Radha Gopinath Mandir, we saw him as a senior Vaishnava, as a counselor, but the Navi Mumbai devotees whom he actually lived with, whom he nurtured, he gave his life to, they saw the rest of the iceberg that was below the surface. And they actually experienced his enthusiasm, his larger than life personality, his love for all, his enthusiasm, his zeal for life and Krishna consciousness. And they actually felt this and lived this with his presence. And to the Navi Mumbai devotees, he was not just a counselor. To someone, he was their brother or their uncle or their father. This is the way they looked upon him, with so much love. And it was really, truly my privilege to speak to Vamshidhar Prabhu even when he was in hospital. And the conversations that we had were so full of enthusiasm, love, Krishna consciousness, and zest for taking Krishna consciousness movement and Srila Prabhupada's movement forward. Although there is lots that I can say, we have a long list of speakers and we will hear his glories from many devotees, though we have only been able to incorporate 23 devotees. And there are many from Navi Mumbai and from the city congregation who want to speak, but perhaps we will have another memorial for the Navi Mumbai congregation. So we request all the speakers to kindly be aware of the time because we have a short time. And I will be calling out the names of the devotees in pairs, one to speak and the other one to get ready next. Somewhere in the middle, Vamshidhar Prabhu's good wife, our beloved Janva Priya Mataji, she will be giving her offering. And immediately after that, we will have a beautiful video and slide presentation of the life of Vamshidhar Prabhu. At 8:30, we will request Gurudev, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, to give his offering, and we end with a bhajan. Thank you very much. I now will call upon the devotees. His Grace Gauranga Prabhu, please kindly give your offering, and Vaishnav Angri Prabhu of ISKCON Khargar, kindly be ready to speak next. Over to His Grace Gauranga Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Please unmute Gauranga Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, this is a very, very difficult and challenging times for all of us. The past 1 year, 1.5 years, we have lost so many dear, deep friends in Krishna consciousness, gurus in Krishna consciousness. And as each month passes by, we realize the value of each and every devotee who still remains with us. His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu has been a very close friend and support for not only me personally, but also for the entire community of ISKCON at Chopati, for Radhanath Swami in person, someone whom Maharaj, the finance committee, the Janmashtami committee, the Annamrita team could anytime, anywhere, anyhow rely on, because his personality was such that he had a character of integrity and reliability. Those of us who knew him very closely, we have experienced that his unlimited enthusiasm to serve the devotees came from his very deep appreciation for Srila Prabhupada and what Srila Prabhupada has done to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. He was a deep lover of Srila Prabhupada. He would always share Srila Prabhupada's life story with great enthusiasm with anyone, especially anybody new. Because of the sacrifices which Srila Prabhupada made in writing the books, Vamshidhar Prabhu had very deep attachment and attraction for sharing those books of Srila Prabhupada with others. And Baldev Prabhu and others will narrate various pastimes of how he took book distribution to another level with his single-minded enthusiasm and commitment. In fact, it is ironic that, his disappearance happened in this month of January, because usually it would always be in the month of December that he would be at his peak of energy. And the highest point of his energy would be on the day of Vaikuntha Ekadashi, where he would be setting up a stall. And sometimes the Vaikuntha Ekadashi would come in January, and he would be setting up a stall in, the Balaji temple in New Bombay, and he would be getting the army of devotees rallied. He would be planning for days in advance. So Rupa Goswami describes enthusiasm as executing tasks by using intelligence. So Vamshidhar Prabhu would execute each and every activity with meticulous detail. And that was the hallmark of how he would do things. Whether it was book distribution or fundraising for Annamrita or fundraising for, the Janmashtami, or organizing the preaching program, event management, dealing with counselees, whatever it was. He was extremely meticulous in what he was doing. I remember that in the early 2000s, when I started visiting New Bombay for doing these programs, initially it was a small group of people, but because of his enthusiasm to connect more and more people, he had a very meticulous organizational paradigm where he would make sure that everything is organized well, and he would manage the local society people very well. And it was not easy because there were a lot of opposition coming from different quarters. And at the same time, he always made sure that the best prasadam is organized and the devotees are kept comfortable. And he spent a huge amount of money just to renovate the entire hall, just because he felt that, when devotees come for program, they should be comfortable. So this is one thing which I have seen, that when he would get excited about serving devotees, about pleasing devotees and establishing the stature of Srila Prabhupada's movement, he would not look back at, sparing any effort, whether in terms of time or money or contacts or whatever. As our program started growing, so I became less frequent, and then other preachers started. And Vamshidhar Prabhu really took the bull by the horns and started, along with Janava Priya Mataji, becoming like the parents of the entire family of congregation at New Bombay. They were very young, devotees who were just coming to Krishna consciousness. They did not have much association with Radhanath Maharaj, these young budding devotees. And also because the location was New Bombay, it was not possible for most of them to also come to Chowpatty on a regular basis. So their connection with ISKCON was mainly through, the inspiration they got from Vamshidhar Prabhu and Janava Priya Mataji, who really, went out of their way to groom each one of those devotees and mentor them in Krishna consciousness. Although New Bombay is so far away and Bellapur is, out of, whatever number of counselors we have in Chowpatty, there are very few counselors who have actually taken the time out to go to New Bombay. Although from 2003 or 4, the program is going on, but very few counselors have gone there because it is kind of, not in the mainstream. So actually, although there was not so much of reciprocation from the different leaders in visiting that particular center, but that did not prevent Vamshidhar Prabhu from giving his 100% when it came to supporting any of the activities and needs of the Chowpatty temple. So whether it is the front marble right in front of, the courtyard, which was all sponsored by him, or any other, different spontaneous requests which would come from different quarters, especially in the 2003 to 2013 period. There are countless occasions where Vamshidhar Prabhu has stepped forward and supported the temple in various projects financially and in very substantial ways financially. And, at this moment, I feel extremely grateful for what he has done, with great enthusiasm and without even, hesitating for one moment. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Datavyam iti yaddanam diyate anupakarine deshe kalita patrecha taddanam satvikam smritam. He would give his contributions because he knew this is my duty. And he would always say that, where are we going to take all this money with us? One day it will be taken away. We will have to leave it behind, or some thief will come and take away, or something will happen. So he was always conscious that nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to the Guru Parampara and Krishna. Then, I remember that in my own personal family's situation, my father and mother, they were at Bhilai, and I had taken him with me. And it was during that visit which he made, which actually transformed my father the most, because he could really connect with Vamshidhar Prabhu because he was so practical and he was so friendly, and he did not even make an effort to preach to my father. But that friendship and the goodness and the kindness which he demonstrated touched his heart. And, just after that, my parents came to Mumbai and met Radhanath Maharaj, and their Krishna consciousness started growing. And all through that, till my father got initiated in 2010, it was Vamshidhar Prabhu who was primarily like the counselor for them, always available even during yatras to help them, support them in, the Mayapur Yatra 2009 when my parents had come. And after my father's departure also, he was right there with me to come to Bhilai with other devotees to wind up things and help my mother come back to Mumbai and settle in Mira Road. So, his presence was very important for, my father to come to Krishna consciousness and my mother to get stabilized after my father's departure. And therefore, many devotees have experienced this kindness shown by Vamshidhar Prabhu, which was totally unconditional and totally devoted and without expecting anything in return. So actually, his sudden disappearance has been a great blow to the entire Vaishnava community, and especially to the devotees in New Bombay. When he got the first stroke and he was admitted in the hospital, then we had conducted one Zoom session with all the devotees in New Bombay. And at that time, we had tried to, console everybody and pray to the Lord that he recover and stay with us longer to serve, for us to serve him. But Krishna had other plans, and we are currently bereft of his association. And from New Bombay, in the last 1 year, we have now lost 2 counselors, Venu Krishna Prabhu and Vamshidhar Prabhu. And we really pray to all the devotees to especially pray for the devotees at New Bombay, because they have missed 2 of their closest and the senior most shelters. But since we are a community of devotees, and Radhanath Maharaj has always inspired us to support each other in all these kinds of situations. Vamshidhar Prabhu was really very concerned about Janva Priya Mataji also, and he went out of his way to take care of her during her several years of battle with cancer. And he played the role of an ideal husband and played the role of an ideal counselor, a wonderful disciple. And I'm sure that Krishna has embraced him and engaged him in a service which is extremely close to him and which is extremely dear to the Lord and the Lord's heart. So I thank all the devotees who have assembled to remember and commemorate our relationship with Vamshidhar Prabhu. We hope and pray that Krishna gives us the strength to continue on in his absence, and also give us the intelligence to take the association of all the other devotees whom we have opportunity to spend time with great respect and with great honor and reverence. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gauranga Prabhu. And truly, I know that His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu treated you like his son and treated your parents like his parents. And for that, we are so grateful to him. I now call upon Vaishnav Angri Prabhu of ISKCON Khargar to speak, and His Grace Radha Krishna Prabhu to please be ready to speak next. I just want to introduce Vaishnav Angri Prabhu. He is a very senior Vaishnava from ISKCON Khargar temple and a senior disciple of His Grace Gopal Krishna Maharaj. He is a PhD scientist and has translated several of Srila Prabhupada's books in Telugu language. And he had a very close friendship with our dear Vamshidhar Prabhu. Over to Vaishnav Angri Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavade Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. First of all, I would like to offer my respectful obeisances to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and also paying obeisance to all the devotees who are connected, and my respectable remembrance to Vamshidhar Prabhu. I came in touch with Vamshidhar Prabhuji in 2007 when we shifted from Panvel to Khargar. So from 2007, when the temple was inaugurated, ISKCON Navi Mumbai, in a flat where I am staying. So we came 6 months before Eklavya Society. So from then our association started. So it's nearly 15 years time with which we are connected. He came many times to my home, and he has a special love and affection towards me. He used to invite for all occasions. He made a point that I am invited for whether it is book release function of Radha Swami Maharaj, or any function, or even the recent 1000 years Sri Bhadramanujacharya's festival from Melkote devotees came. So he made a point that I'm invited. And I also made a point with all love that whenever the functions are there from ISKCON Kharghar, I made a point that first I'll go personally and give him an invitation. That used to be our exchange of love from the beginning. And whenever I went, we had a very good discussions. And I used to always, my favorite topic is always health. So I used to, so because my motive is that generally people say that health is wealth, but my statement is that a devotee health is whole world's wealth. So that's why I used to talk to people and encourage them on various ways of keeping good health. And when I went my last visit with him, we had a good discussions and health discussions, and Jana Mataji has given us good lot of dosas, etc. And at that time, when we were just going through his almirah, I found Radha Gopinath's one photo. When I opened the door, that photo jumped out. In fact, this is the photo, which is a 3D photo. It just jumped out from his cupboard. And I said, oh, so Miss Radha Gopinath wants to come to me, because I did not have in Radha Gopinath photo at that time. So I said that they wants to come to my home. So now this has become my memory of him. And in my college also, I have, because I'm reading the Bhaktivedanta College of Vedic Education, I kept the memory of that 1000 years Ramanujas. So in this way, his memories, whether I'm at home or at our college, it will be always there. And whenever my topics are always health related, and ironically, our entire conversation, which concluded on 9th January, also on the health only, because he came to our Guru Maharaj Vyas Puja on September 3rd, and he was sitting, and I was conducting the program, and he was sitting at the very last corner. So I saw him from long distance. I just reached to him. I said, okay, boy, please come forward. You should be sitting in the front. When he got up and moving, then I noticed that he is not well, because by nature, I'm a doctor. I can easily sense that something is wrong. Hey, Prabhu, you are not wrong. And he said something that he's so not well like that. Then on the same evening, I sent a message to him that, my dear Prabhu, I want to talk to you at least 1 hour so that I can give you good guidance. He will be very healthy. And I wanted to meet him the just next day, which was Sunday. And he mentioned that he had some big contingent of devotees coming, some 30 people. There are many four married people are there, so he cannot have time. In that way, we just missed out, and he said that maybe next available time we will meet. So we were just thinking, oh, really, had it been the meeting would have happened in 3 months, the life would have been changed, because I was eager to give him the health tips in that way. And 29th, I got the news that his first stroke took place, and I sent my message to him that, oh, my dear, I wanted just to meet you. And like that I mentioned, not knowing that he would respond, because I said to him, whoever is there, please respond, I want to meet. So fortunately, he gave a response, response that he is well and he has thanked, he has just paid obeisances to Radha Madan Mohan, and he has remembered Surdas Prabhuji, and he conveyed that I am thankful to all these things. And I said that the moment he comes to home, he would call me, and I said that I'll come immediately to give him messages so that give tips and directions so that he can live for 100 years. I sent a message, and he was very happy. And thank you, Prabhu, like that you mentioned. And somehow it did not happen. Then 9th January, I asked him, Prabhu, what is the health status? I want to come and talk to you. I want to meet personally. The message said, okay, he's not, nobody's allowed till 25th February. And I said, okay, at least start the raw food eating. You would change you will become very healthy. You will become energetic. Then I said that please try it and be jubilant. I sent a message. Then his last message is sure and try. He mentioned sure and try, and that's all. Then on 22nd January, when the message came, we were just simply stunned, and we just rushed to his. I just changed my dress and just went there. Somebody asked, "Oh, we don't know where he is there," and when you come on, I don't go. I don't care whether he is when. I should go to his house first. That's what myself and my wife, we both just went, and all the devotees are chanting, and we just stayed there. And we can understand that by then the devotees from the ISKCON Kharga, they came and they brought Srila Prabhupada's garland. So because he is such a great personality who has started the Krishna consciousness activities and really making people, when the temple was not there. So he made hundreds of people. Even Surdas Prabhu also mentioning that even next day he made a point that when the temple was not there, he nurtured the Krishna consciousness. Whatever you are seeing today at the Navi Mumbai is nothing but his great mercy of his own Radhanath Maharaj. He has blessed Vamshidhar Prabhuji, who made the things possible. And that's why he was blessed with the Srila Prabhupada garland from the temple. From Srila Prabhupada Murti, the garland was brought by devotees, and he was blessed with that. So that shows that he has the great blessings of Srila Prabhupada. I'm sure, 100% sure that his memories will be there forever in the Navi Mumbai. And I shall be speaking about him time and again for several decades. And I'm thankful for his association, and I'm very happy that I'm able to speak about him. And I feel that Vamshidhar Prabhu's sudden departure should become an eye-opener for all the devotees, that they should be concerned not only with the soul, with the body also. Let's try for body and the soul, because a devotee's health is the wealth of whole world, whereas for a common man, health is wealth for him, but devotee's health is something totally different. Let everybody understand this and practice it. So with this, I would, remembering him, so I have his memories with this. Radha, because jumped out and he was so gracefully, he said, okay, Prabhu, please take it. Take it, he mentioned. So I'm thankful and my loving relations with him. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vaishnav Angri Prabhu, for your lovely offering. And yes, as you said, so truly that when His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu went to Navi Mumbai, there were no devotees, and he single-handedly went door to door with his good wife, with pamphlets, with books, begging everyone to please kindly attend the programs and get a taste of Krishna consciousness. With that, I will now call upon His Grace Radha Krishna Prabhu, after which His Grace Keshav Prabhu, please be ready to speak. Over to Radha Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vamshidhar Prabhu has been a friend philosopher, and a guide. With his such a pleasing personality and behavior, he could make friends with all of any age, from any background. He could just walk into their lives and become their friend. This was his special quality. Whenever he came to Radha Gopinath temple, he would make it a point to come to our place. And each time he came, his main agenda was to play a game of chess with Nanda Kumar, more to encourage Nanda Kumar. And that way, he has been a friend to a small child like him also. What to speak of his ability of raising funds for an Amrita through his contacts, through his corporate contacts and from his contacts from his previous profession. He simply had a knack of getting things done very smoothly and very sweetly. Whenever there was occasion at Radha Gopinath temple, supposing it was a festival which would last for a couple of days, he would take a room in a nearby guest house and both of them would come and stay there, Janava Priyamataji and Vamshidhar Prabhu, so that they do not have to travel every day all the way to Panvel or Bellapur. His enthusiasm for participating in those festivals was just unbelievable. There are many things I would like to say, but there is one thing which not many may know, and I hope I am not transgressing my limits. He has confided me a number of times that he has totally lived a life of brahmacharya. All glories to Vamshidhar Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for your offering, Radha Krishna Prabhu. And yes, just like you mentioned that he was so good with Nanda Kumar, playing chess with him, like that for all the congregation children in Navi Mumbai, he was truly their father. So although he had no biological children of his own, he was the father to all these children, nurturing them, loving them with so much enthusiasm, celebrating all their birthdays and looking after them just like a father figure. And in fact, so many of the children devotees who are now, they are married also by the grace of Vamshidhar Prabhu and his good wife. They call Vamshidhar Prabhu Appa, which is father. And so he was a father to all, even though apparently he had no biological children. Now I request my spouse, His Grace Keshav Prabhu, to kindly speak. And the next person, His Grace Satyanarayan Prabhu, kindly be ready to speak next after Keshav Prabhu.
Respectful obeisances to Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, and to all the assembled devotees, and especially to Janva Priya Mataji. So Vamshidhar Prabhu was really as large as his frame in many ways. His heart was large, his positive attitude and the energy and enthusiasm which emanated from him was large. His action orientation that he had of quickly getting involved and then starting to act was large. His devotion to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada was large. His affection was large. Everything about him was actually larger than life. And what a wonderful human being he was. So my association with Vamshidhar Prabhu actually began on the Sunday mornings where we would be there for Bhagavatam class at the Radha Gopinath temple. And he would never really miss an opportunity to spend time with my late father, Sri Nathji Prabhu. And we would all have breakfast khichdi together in the Govinda's restaurant. On one of these occasions, he was inspired to actually, partly from his association with Sri Nathji Prabhu and also with Radha Krishna Prabhu, taking their blessings, he embarked on this journey of fundraising for Anamrita Foundation. He cultivated many large corporate and CSR relationships. And in fact, I must tell you that initially it took him a lot of time and effort. But he kept at it. He kept at it. And slowly and surely these relationships became large. And he became the largest and most consistent fundraiser for the Anamrita Foundation. On another occasion, I remember that we were discussing the plans for Govardhan Ashraya at Govardhan Eco Village to expand the room capacity there so that many more people could benefit from actually visiting Govardhan Eco Village, staying there and experiencing the blissfulness there. And he very enthusiastically volunteered to head soliciting members for Govardhan Ashraya and very meticulously followed that through. He would send communications every week. He would seek blessings from Maharaj. He would follow up in a very systematic manner. And what I found from my various engagements with Prabhuji, in both of these areas, that his approach was very uncomplicated and it was very focused. He was very close to our family, especially with my late father. And then that relationship continued with my mother and with Namamrita and the rest of the family. Even after my father passed away, and even though they would live quite far away, he would always make it a point to attend all the programs that we had at our house. In fact, the last time that I met him was when he had come to our house for Radha Krishna Prabhu's 75th birthday celebration. And post Maharaj addressing the devotees, he moved towards the lift, to go home. And I immediately caught hold of him. I said, Prabhuji, you have to have prasad. How can you go without having prasad? But he excused himself, saying that he wasn't keeping very well. Now, this in itself was a bit unusual because honoring prasad was very delightful for him. And almost never did he not honor prasad before going. Little did I realize that this would escalate into such a bad situation, leading to us ultimately losing him. I would like to conclude by saying that, we really miss his presence, his association and his contribution, his love and respect for the devotee community at large, for our family especially, and for picking up every opportunity to actually serve Maharaj Srila Prabhupada and our congregation, especially in Navi Mumbai. I am sure that he is now in a more fulfilling place, carrying on his services. But in our own little selfish desire, we really miss him. Such wonderful devotees always leave behind a vacuum, which is not easy to fill. All we have left are pleasant memories that we can cling on to. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Keshav Prabhu. And truly you've said that personally for our family, it is a very big loss to have lost him. He's truly a wonderful brother, friend, and guide to our whole family, showering so much love and blessings on us and all our children. We miss you so much, Vamshidhar Prabhu. And now I request Satyanarayan Prabhu to kindly give your offering, and His Grace Keshav Chandra Prabhu, please be ready to speak next.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all. Dandavat pranam to Gurudev. So I'd like to speak some qualities of Vamshidhar Prabhu. First is, whenever the program was happening, after the lecture, a preacher of the class, he used to appreciate each and every quality of the person who contributed for the program, like cleaning up the hall, then getting for the garland. So he was having appreciation for each and every person, every devotee. When he came from the hospital, after this coming from hospital, then after coming, he called each and every devotee from small child to the old person in the family and asked about his well-being. So he was concerned for each and every person. Then whenever he used to do anything, the other Prabhuji has said, when he used to take for this Vaikuntha Ekadashi book distribution, to take permissions, then arrangement for the resting, then prasadam arrangement, and giving appreciation to each and every person. That was inspiring the other devotees to come in more service way. I want to share one small pastime he was sharing. When he was in Chennai for some marriage, marriage ceremony in his relation, and he was in Vaishnav dress, kurta, dhoti, and tilak. When he went there, somebody from that particular family asked, "Are you from ISKCON Hare Krishna?" He said, "Yes." Then the family asked, "Can we get some Gita for book distribution?" And he was in Chennai, but immediately within some time, we arranged some Gita, and there were book distribution for more than 100 plus Gitas there in Chennai. Secondly, when he was having wonderful slogans. Maya Das, Sada Udas. Krishna Das, Bindas. He used to say always Maya Das, Sada Udas. He used to say, Ye Jindagi nahi milegi dobara. So he was becoming everybody sincere, serious. Secondly, he said, we have Jare Dekho Tare Koho Krishna Padesh. Amar Adda Guru Huwa Itadesh. But if you visit Vamshidhar Prabhu's flat, also in the entrance, there was not a single inch of the wall which will not have photographs of the Lord. Guru Maharaj's photo, even the cupboards, the classes were written with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Every corner you see, that will some photo of Radha Raman or some Radha Sham Sundar, Radha Krishna Balaram. Anywhere you see, you say, Jare Dekha Tare Ko Krishna Balaram, Yare Dekho Tare Krishna photo. That was wonderful house of Vamshidhar Prabhu. He was living with example. If you say the Mataji has said that he was father, he was not having children, but he was assured and he arranged for the marriage for two wonderful devotees, Navaradhika Mataji, Brunali Mataji. So many things, no compromise in the quality, high level of cleanliness. He's a spiritual dawn. Bharat Bhumi to Jalmalo Pon Bhagyavan Jeev. Then he was having Vasudeva Kutumbakam, giving attention to each and every minute detail. Vyavasaya Itama Buddhi. Then what are the program is grand celebration. Then service attitude. What do we have is a service attitude. And wonderful. He was friend to all of us. Friend to all of us. He should call and discuss, friend. So, Vamshidhar Prabhu, you are not there. But you are there with us. With his words, loving words. With his announcement 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. With his enthusiasm. His love on us. His service attitude. His wonderful devotee care. His inspiration will remain for us forever, forever, forever. And last, I just want to say something about Janava Priya Mataji. In all this, Janava Priya Mataji was stable. She was really understood the philosophy that soul is different body. And when there was interactions and Maharaj, there was a call in the hospital, Dhanmapriya Mataji requested, the Vamshidhar Prabhu shall remember Krishna in any circumstances. That really penetrated me. So, really, Dandavat Pranam to Vamshidhar Prabhu for his wonderful, wonderful services and love on us. And whether he's not there, but he's there with all his wonderful inspiration. Thanks to Vamshidhar Prabhu for everything on all of you are done on all of us. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your wonderful offering, Keshav Chandra Prabhu. And true, how you remembered Vamshidhar Prabhu never did anything small. Everything was big, larger than life, whether it was book distribution pandal, whether it was his deity's feast, anything. Everything was done like a marriage, like a shadi, that everyone, all passers-by would be attracted and come and see, ye kya hai? And it would be his bookstall. So thank you for remembering all those days. And now I request His Grace Dwarkadish Prabhu. I'm sorry, my mistake. Satyanarayan Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, thank you for your offering. And now I call upon Keshav Chandra Prabhu to kindly give your offering. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam to Guru Maharaj and all the assembled devotees. I am very grateful for this opportunity to share some of my thoughts. I have known Vamshidhar Prabhu for quite some time, and there were many things which we share in common. One is that our mother tongue was the same, and in fact, we were from the same native village, Valliyur, that is in Tirunelveli district of Tamil Nadu. So means, of course, we were also means just like Vamshidhar Prabhu was born. He was born and he was spent his childhood in Mumbai. Similarly, I had spent my childhood. I was never there for in my native. I spent my childhood in Jamshedpur, so that was also far away from Tamil Nadu. And both of us liked South Indian food, like many of you mentioned. And both of us were from commerce background. So because of these similarities, as soon as we met, we became very good friends. And even our services brought us close to each other. And soon I could realize that how such an enthusiastic and vibrant devotee Vamshidhar Prabhu was. And he was always ready to help every devotee. Means whenever anybody had any need, he was always forthcoming to help him. He was very like my elder brother. And just like as Keshav Prabhu also mentioned, he was an excellent fundraiser, not only for ISKCON and Anamrit and many other projects. Whenever there was a need, everybody would always. I was also a part, I had my services in the finance committee. So I know every Janmashtami, he was always bubbling with enthusiasm. Now the chance has come to serve Prabhupada, to serve Radha Gopinath, to serve Guru Maharaj. And he was always in the forefront. Just like Prabhupada would say, we should go for the rhino. He was such a devotee. The problem was that he would never think small. He always think big. Kuch bhi karna hai na, to shaan se karo. And he was a great team leader. He would always try to enthuse the team. He was one of the highest fundraisers for Janmashtami. And every year after Janmashtami, he would always take all the devotees from Parth department, and earlier it was accounts department, to Govindas for a lunch. He said, "Aap logo se bahut mehnat karwaya maine," because he would always engage us in sending forms to various people to arrange for coupons collection, sending checks and collecting checks and sending gifts for the donors. And also he had a very big list for Janmashtami VIP guests. And every year, whenever we would have this VIP committee meeting, we would always have to cut short. We saying that, oh no, we cannot call so many. We have less capacity. We don't have so much of space, like that. And every time he would relent because he was humble also. I remember once he had organized a big Kirtan festival in Navi Mumbai, and he had arranged it in an auditorium. We would always like think that, okay, Kirtan festival means we can have in our own local program area, but he arranged it for in a big auditorium. And just like we have big award ceremony, in this nowadays we have Filmfare Award, this award, that award. So he arranged for trophies for so many devotees, recognizing them for their services. And even one trophy is there in Parth department. He gave that year for fundraising and for assisting in that, for serving Prabhupada. He gave a trophy, and that is there, and it's decorating the Parth office today. And he had arranged for a big donation for Janmashtami. And when the check came to accounts, he said, Keshav, you take this check and go to give to Guru Maharaj personally. So I said, okay, as you are saying. So after receiving, I went, I gave it to Maharaj, and Maharaj was so happy that he blessed me too also. Then after some time, he called me back and he said, how did Maharaj say? What did Maharaj say? I said, Maharaj was very happy and he blessed me also. He said, that is the reason why I told you to go. I wanted that you should get blessings of Guru Maharaj. So, in fact, he was such a devotee. Whenever he would meet Guru Maharaj, he would always want to give some donation. He said, "Itna sab paisa rakha hai, sab kiske liye? Ye Guru Maharaj ko dena hai. He is doing so much of service for Prabhupada. As a grahastha, it is my duty that I should give this at the lotus feet of Guru Maharaj." In fact, like he would say, "Mera jo kuch bhi hai na, sab everything is for Radha Gopinath." And all brahmacharis, they are like my children. I don't have my own children. Aisa baat nahi hai. All brahmacharis are my children. And in fact, whenever there would be programs in Bellapur, all of you have seen that it would have so much of grandeur. And we can see just by visiting his house, like Satyanarayana Prabhu just mentioned, everywhere you will see such beautiful photographs of the Lordship, such beautiful deities. And he and Janavapuri Mataji would prepare such nice prasadam. Especially, he would invite us for chanting of Bhagavad Gita and then serve us very nice South Indian prasad. And at the end of every program, like Satyanarayana Prabhu was mentioning, he was like one of the most enthusiastic participant in any program. And in the event, and he would make very nice announcement, enthusing and all the devotees. And in the end, he would say, in that same mode, that let us welcome and let us thank, and now we can pray. Let us pray for Vamshidhar Prabhu's departed soul by loudly chanting 3 times, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your offering, Keshav Chandra Prabhu. And now I request His Grace Dwarkadish Prabhu to kindly give your offering, and His Grace Sudhir Chaitanya Prabhu to be ready to speak next. Hare Krishna. Can we unmute him, please?
Yeah. Okay. My obeisances to our beloved spiritual master and to all the wonderful Vaishnavas who have gathered together to reminisce the glory of this very extraordinarily special Vaishnava who was amongst us, a friend to really all of us. And it would be not an exaggeration to say that he was an embodiment of enthusiasm. Everything he did was with such grace, with such flair, with such happiness. He was a very happy devotee. If you are with him, you would always feel that Krishna consciousness is a joyous process. See how happy he is. He was like, as you say, he was always high in Krishna consciousness. He never came low. He was full of that sort of very positive, strong drive and energy to really be Krishna conscious and to give Krishna consciousness to one and all he would come in contact with. It is pretty sad, speaking a little bit about the medical part, that such a wonderful Vaishnava would have to succumb to a very treacherous disease, which remains low-lying and unidentified and fairly asymptomatic until it comes to a stage where it becomes a big, a major drawback in the overall health situation of the person, and that is what is called cirrhosis of liver. So It appears that it is something in the family, because his brother also went to something similar, and he was sort of a victim of some sort of familial trait which was undiagnosed before. Miraculously, he had this brain hemorrhage that took place because of a what you call as arteriovenous malformation, and that led to edema, swelling in the brain, and he became unconscious, and he was brought like that in the state in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. His Grace Shamlal Prabhu was the primary caretaker intensivist for him. I was playing a supportive role also in taking care of the various complications which his body was going through. And by the Lord's grace, and especially, I must remark here, by the beloved prayers of our spiritual master, Radhanath Swami, he could come out of that. And that was very special, because it almost looked like an impossible situation, because for several days he remained in a semi-comatose condition. Miraculously, he was brought out and he went back home, only to come back after about 7 days or so with high-grade fever, when his liver had even further deteriorated, and he went to what is called as hepatic coma. The beautiful thing about is that when you go on the rounds into his room to meet him, if he was not in a state of a semi-comatose situation, he would be always giving you a big, beautiful smile as soon as you enter in his room. So, Dwarkadish Prabhu, so how am I today? And he would, enthuse me to tell him something, and I would encourage him, saying that, Prabhu, you're doing well. You're coming out of the complications. And so he said, so can I have ganna juice today? He was very fond of prasadam, and I think he was fond of sweets as well. So can I have this and can I have that? He would have some special request for me, and I would always relent by saying, yes, Prabhu, you can have, you're improving now. So I wanted to keep him happy. He can have his favorite foods, which he wanted to have. He expressed tremendous amount of gratitude to Radhanath Maharaj, our beloved Gurudev, because Maharaj was constantly praying for him. Shamla Prabhu would get messages from Maharaj that I'm praying for Vamshidhar Prabhu. And in his heart of hearts, when he would express his gratitude with folded hands, said, I can only be so very grateful to Maharaj that he's praying for such an insignificant person like myself. His heart would overflow with emotion and with tremendous amount of gratitude. So that was very beautiful to see the amount of gratitude he was having, and the amount of attachment he had to his beloved spiritual master. He was truly a person who took shelter of him with so much of feeling, so much of love, and so much of emotional connection he felt with Maharaj. And that was truly his shelter during the last days, even more than previous times. That particular fateful night when we lost him, we got a call at around 10:30. He was in the morning itself. Jana Priya Devi and we had invited a specialist gastroenterologist to discuss the possibilities of doing a liver transplant for him in the near future. And we were discussing the ideas about how to get the liver, what are the registry processes and things like that. How would he really get a liver soon? So we were, in fact, moving towards understanding that there was a limit to medical treatment, and that to save his life and to give him a long life from now, liver transplant would be a complete curative process. And we were thinking about all the things. And just that day in the evening, at about 10:30 in the late evening, we got a call that he has actually gasped. He has gasped and he is on the ventilator. So of course we rushed there, and it was very clear that this is unfortunate sudden change of events which has taken place. And we were there. Jana Priya Devi was there. Her twin sister was there. We were happy that she was also there in the night. And Vishaka Priya and other fellow devotees from Mira Road came. And it was so beautiful because it was Prabhupada's hospital. Prabhupada's Kirtan was going on. And we applied tilak on his forehead. And we sang all the beautiful songs which are his favorite songs. We sang the Brahma Samhita. We sang so many Narsingha prayers. And this dear devotee who was helping them nicely, His Grace Gaur Kirtan Prabhu, who he almost acted like their own son. He was there for last several months with them, I believe. and on all the errands and all the things which we would do, the small things, the big things, which were necessary, what a family member would have to do. So glory to him as well for playing that wonderful role. I must definitely make a comment on Janava Devi's very stable-minded consciousness. For a person, for a dear wife to lose a loving, wonderful, exalted husband is a loss beyond repair. And yet she was always very prayerful. She never became very emotionally choked up, but she saw things from Shastra Chakshu. She was saying that people die. She was on the roads, and sometimes there is nobody to help them in helpless situation. But here is my husband, this wonderful devotee who is blessed by Radhanath Swami, blessed by so many devotees. All of you are treating him so wonderfully. So I'm only expressing so much gratitude. So, for a woman to be really seeing things philosophically and seeing things so clearly in a mode of a very balanced consciousness is glory to her deep Krishna consciousness and her faith in the process of what we are all following. We have lost a very, very dear friend. I would consider him as the very soul of the entire Navi Mumbai congregation. Right? That's like the soul leaves, the body becomes so much affected, the loss of the soul. So he was the very soul of the Bellapur congregation. He charged all the devotees with his amazing amount of enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness. My obeisances to him, and express my gratitude to the Lord for in some way being a part of serving him in the times when he needed and helping him in his final journey. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Dwarkadish Prabhu. And it is true that Janva Mataji, she's so exemplary in the way she handled everything. And though Vamshidhar Prabhu was her only support, she was actually consoling all of us and saying, don't cry. All glories to Janva Priya Mataji. And with that, I call Sudhir Chaitanya Prabhu to please speak. And next, His Grace Radhika Pati Prabhu to please be ready.
Hare Krishna. So please accept my humble obeisances, all the Vaishnavas, Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. So first time I met His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu in the year 2004 when we were part of Sayan congregation and also part of the same council group under His Grace Nitya Krishna Prabhu and His Grace Rajlila Mataji. But when we actually came close when we were traveling to Mayapur for the yatra, I think it was 2005 or something. And he was much older to me, but we had very, very friendly relationship. And not only with me, but he could connect with all the age groups. My daughter, especially, she used to really look forward and enjoy his company because many times after Sunday feast, we used to travel together in the same car. Our dear friend Shekhar Shetty Prabhu and sometimes Nitya Krishna Prabhu, we used to all travel together in the same car. And it used to be a fun traveling together, having discussion on the points which were discussed, given by Maharaj in the lectures, and all the fun used to happen. He also used to interact with my mother-in-law because she is also South Indian, and always affectionately he used to inquire about her well-being. He was going through some tough time that time, so he used to always take care of that also. And of course, when we used to go to Govinda's restaurant, and never ever, whenever he was present, he ever allowed anyone to pay, irrespective of the size of the group. He used to say that, okay, he used to always go ahead and pay the bill for everyone. And I used to feel amazed that how this person can do these things so consistently. And that time I did not really know his glories, but later on I realized that how he's serving in so many projects of the temple, so many great services he's doing for Guru Maharaj. And he at any point of time, he never aimed at anything small. And impossible was not a word in his dictionary. As Prabhupada always said that, it's the word in the fool's dictionary. But Never ever he said impossible for anything. He had great love for Srila Prabhupada, great love for Guru Maharaj. As once His Grace Bhavanand Prabhu, he mentioned that we are never Krishna conscious, we are Prabhupada conscious. So Vamshidhar Prabhu was really Prabhupada conscious, Guru Maharaj conscious, and of course Krishna conscious, Radha Gopinath conscious. In spite of doing all these wonderful, great services at top level, he never lost touch with the devotees he knew from old days. He was helping devotees with employment, finances, whatever ways, as Satyanarayana Prabhu was mentioning, how he helped two daughters of one of our devotees, getting them married, everything he was doing. But he never boasted about it, never ever told that I did this. Some of us knew that what he was doing, but he never told. He was a person who was very frank. He was very vocal about his opinion. And sometimes devotees might have not liked that frankness, but that's how he was. Nothing was hidden. He was like an open book. And whatever he did, like he used to tell that, Guru Maharaj has told me that whatever you are able to do is because of the energy what you are getting from Janma Priya Mataji, the support which you are getting from Janma Priya Mataji. So every time he has given the credit, he never forgotten to give that credit, because Mataji was a different personality. She's a very different personality as to what Vamshidhar Prabhu was. The way he was outgoing, she was very calm and quiet and very grave person compared to that. But he always gave, and all glories to Mataji for the kind of support which she has given. And we can see this with the kind of things what he had done when he was in his final journey, the way the whole congregation was eager to serve. Being part of the Bhaktivedanta Hospital, I used to get calls from the Mumbai congregation devotees. They wanted to come. And all the way from Bellapur, Kharghar, Panvel, devotees were coming, wanting to serve. They were coming and staying here and they were wanting to serve him. And he actually lived like a king. He was a Krishna conscious king. And like Satyanarayana Prabhu, Keshav Chandra Prabhu, they mentioned about the photographs, that how he used to have photographs all over in his house. And he was fanatic about his cleanliness. Never ever will see any dust in his house whenever we go there. And not only in his house, but I remember that he had bought a car, a big car. All things, whatever he did were big. So he bought a car which was big at that time. I think it was College or something. So that many devotees can sit in the car and they can come from Bellapur. That was his desire. And this car also was decorated in such a way that all the windows, except for the front window, where from where the windshield, from where you have to see out, that also you had covered with so many photographs of Radha Gopinath, Gaur Nitai, Srinath Ji, so many things. Unfortunately, he lost. The car was stolen one day right near Shri Radha Gopinath temple. But then he was detached. He said that Krishna ka marzi hai, chahe leke gaye. He said that I will not buy a car now. Abhi, I'll just travel by taxi. So that was his nature. I remember in the council meetings, very distinctively, like the announcement he used to make, that was one part. But one of the favorite songs, bhajans, which he was always used to sing, was Adharam Madhuram. And the old days, like Krishna Rasayan book, Marathi Krishna Rasayan book used to be there. And this Adharam Madhuram was on the page number 222. And the way he used to say that whenever his turn is to come, he said that 222. And then he used to sing that Adharam Madhuram so enthusiastically. I mean, I cannot ever forget that. In the last days in the hospital, as Dwarkadish Prabhu was saying, I used to sometimes visit him because I never wanted to trouble him or the chances of infections and all those things. One time I went, the first time when he was in the ICU, and I was just talking and I was just encouraging him that, that Prabhuji, now we have to get up. Abhi jana hai apne ko. We have to go and let's have a party in Govinda's. And he said, he was telling, sabko ice cream khilana hai. He was telling everyone in the hospital should be fed with ice cream. So, so he was telling Janava Priya Mataji that, Sadashiv Prabhu ko bolna chahiye, that we should serve ice cream. And then, in his room, he used to have watermelon juice. So after some days, like second time when he came, he was told actually that only once you can get. So he used to tell me that, "Arey, kya ho raha hai? Mereko watermelon juice nahi mil raha hai." So then somehow then we discussed and then it was served to him. When he was admitted second time, he was admitted on a Friday, and somehow Friday and Saturday I was busy with something. I did not meet him. I got to know that he was admitted. Sunday he called me, and I had told Janva Priya Mataji and the others that whenever anything you need in the hospital, which is not related to clinical part, any other help which is required, then please let me know and I'll take care of that. So Sunday he called. So I thought that, he probably needs some help. And, but then he said, Arey Sudhir Chaitanya, I just called that, I have got admitted. Tum aaye nahi milne ke liye. So then I decided, okay, I should go. So then again, immediately next day, Monday, I went and visited him. But this time, when I saw him, he was tired and he felt that, ye nahi hona chahiye, itna nahi hona chahiye. This should not happen with anyone else. That's what he was talking. But he was still trying to do his best. But physically, he was not able to do many things. So he was a little tired. And of course, the day when he left, the night, early morning, he left his body. I got a call from Madan Murari Prabhu, and that's how I got to know that he left. So I couldn't believe that he has left, and I still can't believe. After he left his body, just few days after that, I think this Thursday, I got a call. I got a call from Vamshidhar Prabhu's number. Actually, it was Sri Gaur Kirtan Prabhu who called me for some help, some discussion. He wanted to do something. And when I received that call, when I saw that call on my mobile, the name of Vamshidhar Prabhu, I just couldn't believe. My heart just skipped. The heartbeat got skipped. I said that, Arey, Vamshidhar Prabhu is still there. And I still feel that he's still there. His memories are so sweet. I can't see that he will not be there. Just like the song, the Maduram, Adharam Maduram used to sing, his memories are also very sweet. Like Shri Radha Gopinath's sweet smile. We will never forget. His face cannot be forgotten. His services cannot be forgotten. And I'm really grateful that when he was leaving his body, or at the time when he was the last days of his life, I got his association and I got some opportunity to serve him. So I'm really grateful, Vamshidhar Prabhu, and you will never leave us. That's what I know. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your sweet offering, Sudhir Chaitanya Prabhu. And now I request Radhapati Prabhu and his good wife, Lalita Priya Mataji, please kindly give your offering.
Hare Krishna. Please accept our humble obeisances, dear Guru Maharaj, and our humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. It is with a heavy heart that we are all meeting and talking about His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu, who is so dear to each one of us. He has actually earned a place in everybody's heart by his spontaneous, loving relationship with all the devotees. And not only with the devotees, with anybody he comes across, because there is such genuine love in his heart for everybody. They say blood is thicker than water, meaning that blood relationships are stronger. But here in ISKCON, Prabhupada has built a house in which everyone can live, meaning Prabhupada has brought the entire humanity into the family fold. This is truly Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We all belong to the family where Krishna is our father. We are all children of the same father. Now, in the passing away of His Grace, Vamshidhar Prabhu, we saw how many people came to see him off on his last journey. Each person who came, despite the pandemic fear, felt obliged to bid him farewell as an expression of gratitude for what they received in their life from him. After our Brahmin initiation somewhere in 1997, we started seeing Her Grace Janama Priya Mataji in Sayan programs, and Vamshidhar Prabhu would just make an appearance. But soon he skyrocketed into a serious devotee, and in 2003, they both shifted to Bellapur and they started holding their programs. They got initiated. So in 2005, he had the Deity welcome ceremony at Bellapur, and it was a very, very grand welcome that he had arranged for the deities. The entire ground was taken up. I distinctly remember how, when His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj came, he went forward, received Maharaj, who embraced him. He was literally sobbing and crying out of joy and gratitude. It was an expression of his sincerity, an expression of his seriousness. He had no ulterior motives, and he proved to be a true disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He went about developing the Navi Mumbai congregation right from Vashi up to Kargar and brought so many sincere souls under Prabhupada's shelter and under the banner of ISKCON. Whatever he did was with a flair and in great style. He would not compromise on any of his activities. And I remember in one of the all counselors meeting when we were discussing book distribution, the counselors were giving targets of 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. But Vamshidhar Prabhu, like Hanuman leapt to catch the sun, he came out with a figure. He says, I will do 10,000. Everybody was aghast. What is this? But then he worked so hard and he achieved his target. And in fact, he exceeded his target. And throughout, Her Grace Janama Priya Mataji very, very ably supported him. They had no children, but his counselees were more than his own children, as other speakers also have testified to this. We have seen how they came forward in all occasions, including in what happened recently of his passing away. They stood rock like a family with him. Once I had gone with my counseling group to his place. We were going ahead and en route we stopped there. I just wanted them to see this dynamic devotee. And it was an amazing experience for all of them. Every inch of his wall was covered with photo frames. And the only place left was somewhere in the ceiling. And he said, I am getting somebody to paint the ceiling with photographs, with pictures. That was his enthusiasm. In all of the projects of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he has contributed very, very significantly, be it Annamrita, the Radha Gopinath Mandir itself, GEV, and even the Bhaktivedanta Hospital. This Bhaktivedanta Hospital is truly a jewel in the projects of His Holiness Radhanath Swami. It serves the unfinished task of establishing Varnashram. When devotees need hospitalization, the unique feature of Bhaktivedanta Hospital is spiritual care. It's a holy dham because it has vibes of gratitude of so many devotees who are nurtured back to health and serves as a platform for those departing from this world to be launched into the spiritual world with so many devotees extending their heartfelt prayers and their efforts. I would like to express my gratitude to His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu and Janama Priya Mataji, who have been very close friends to us and very close to our hearts. And they also gave us moral support when we had our deity welcome in 2004. We have lost a close friend, a sincere devotee in his passing away. And now I would like to also pay my homage to him by offering a poetry for him, which I just composed today morning. It came just spontaneously from my heart. Just small effort, insignificant effort. I hope His Grace Rasikacharya Prabhu could share the screen so that while I read it, yeah. So, dear Vamshidhar Prabhu, when the flow is that of water, it goes by the name called river. When the flow is that of time, it goes by the name called life. Time will wait for none, but it's a race that you have won. By surrender to that one, the one and only one, who has control on time and made your life sublime. Krishna is his name, whose nature is divine, an ocean of pure love, to his abode you have gone. Vamshidhar Prabhu dear, in life you have been clear. In love to serve Lord Krishna and his devotees dear. Prabhupada built a house where all can come to live. By serving his mission great, you entered his heart straight. In gratitude we bow to you with all our love. In ever indebted to you, Lalita Priya Devidasi and Radha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for that beautiful poem, Radhapati Prabhu and Lalita Priya Mataji. And now I request His Grace Murlidhar Prabhu to kindly speak, and His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu to kindly be ready to speak next. And I request all the devotees that we are running out of time. At 8:30, His Holiness Radhanath Swami will join us in speaking. So please let us try and be little more brief. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My obeisance unto my spiritual master, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and all the assembled Vaishnavas here. Just 2 days back, when I came to know that he is admitted in the hospital, I just wanted to meet him. So I took permission of Dwarkadish Prabhu and Janva Priya Mataji. I said, can I go and meet him inside? So Dwarkadish said, please go meet him. When I went to him, he recognized me. He said, oh, Haribol, Murlidhar, come here. And then he was just speaking his heart out. He was saying that, see, few days back, I was doing my exercises. I was following a diet. I spoke to Gurudev also. And then again, I'm back here in the hospital. You know, this liver has really killed me. He says, material nature doesn't spare anyone, not even a devotee. I was just listening to him, and in my heart of heart, I was just praying for him. And after 2 days, I hear the news early in the morning that he has left his body. I went to pay my respects to him early in the morning on that fateful day, Saturday. And Madhana Prabhu was waiting for his body to be taken out and then to be transported to Bellapur. So he just made one statement. He said, Murlidhar, we have lost a lion. And that immediately struck me. I said, yes. You know, Vamshidhar Prabhu was really a lion in life. And I was trying to meditate on, you know, what is a character of a lion? You know, like a lion who roars. So Vamshidhar Prabhu was like that. He was a preacher, a very, very terrific preacher. He built the entire Bellapur congregation single-handedly, whether it is book distribution or whether it like, preaching. He was so ferocious, so aggressive, all for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. So he was a lion in that way. Also, the lion is always hungry, always there. When he's there, he's passion. So he was always hungry for opportunity to serve Guru in his mission, to serve Vaishnavas, always ready for any assistance, whether it is a financial assistance, maybe a physical, whether anybody needs, an emotional support. He was there, always eager to serve, always eager to serve, always hungry for some opportunity for service. You would never find Vamshidhar Prabhu just sitting at one place and doing nothing. When he's around, you would always also be enthusiastic because you see him so hungry for something, some services here and there, and you could find him in that way, very, very almost, any opportunity he gets, he would be there to grab that. Always caring, just like a lion, though extremely ferocious, always cares for his cubs. Similarly, Vamshidhar Prabhu was always caring, very soft at heart. Said that any of his god brothers needs any help, he was always there for them. He was always there for his dear counsellors in Bellapur. He was always there for any fellow devotees, asking for help. He is always there, always caring. And like a lion lives a royal life, he lived like a life, royally, life, a loyal, full of royalty. Well, whatever you do, bindas, he says, Krishna ka das, bindas, Maya ka das, sada udas. Never afraid of anything. Never afraid of anything. He always liked to feed us. Wherever we would go, like, he was like an elder brother to us. Whether it's Govindas or GV, he would just say, okay, Murlidhar, what you want? Come on. We'll have pizza, we'll have this, we'll have that, like that. So, lived a life, a royal life, actually. Lion, I wanted to make an acronym. LION. Lion, L stands for life. His life was full of dedication, full of service. He never lost a single opportunity for service. He said, my life is fully for Guru's mission. He said, my house after we leave the body is for the temple. He says, everything, whatever I Murlidhar is for Guru. Whatever Guru says, I will do it. All for Prabhupada, everything. So, that's what his life was. I stands for inspiration. He would inspire everyone through his personal life, through his example. I was very inspired by seeing how he took care of Janva Mataji when she was going through that illness. He left everything and was just taking care of Janva Mataji. That's all. That is a great inspiration for me. That is taking care of the spouse when the spouse needed the most. And the same reciprocation was from Janva Mataji when he needed the most from her. So this was what, was his qualities. Inspiration. O stands for opportunity. He grabbed those opportunities, as I said, whenever it rose, whether it's for maybe a GV project, or whether it's for the Annamrita, or it's for the Yatra sponsorship, or is it for the cows, or raising funds for any aspects, for TOVP, Janmashtami collections, festivals. I do not know whether every one of you know, but then he was the person who sponsored Lalita Vishaka. When Lalita Vishaka came in 2004, I suppose, he is the one who sponsored Lalita Vishaka of Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir. He is the one who gave that Lakshmi for the Lalita Vishaka deities. N stands for nurturing. He nurtured the tender creeper of Krishna consciousness within the heart with regular watering in the form of guidance from his senior god brothers like Gauranga Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Govind Prabhu, and time to time, moment to moment instructions from his spiritual master, from his heartfelt blessings from his Gurudev. So he nurtured that within his heart, and that uh, came in outside in the form of wonderful congregation in Bellapur and wonderful contribution in his life for the mission of Srila Prabhupada. I have lost a very, very wonderful senior brother in my life. I really miss him a lot. And so much in my life, personal life, he had helped me. He would always share his thoughts and feelings, and I would always speak whatever I felt with him. And we had so many wonderful moments together. I only pray and hope that I can imbibe some of the qualities that he has and he had. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Muridhar Prabhu. And truly, we remember him as a lion, and he was really a one-man army for Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. And with that, I ask His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu to kindly speak, after which we will have Her Grace Janva Priya Mataji, and we will follow this with the slideshow, with the video on the life of Vamshidhar Prabhu. So over to Radha Gopinath Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If I have to summarize Prabhu's life, Vamshidhar Prabhu's life, I would say in 2 words, just gratitude within heart and externally manifested as full-fledged dedication. Basically, I met Janva Priya Mataji first. She was coming to the science program in the late 90s and early 2000. And she expressed, once I had gone to their home, she introduced me to her husband, and inspired them to come. As he said, we're just coming, dropping her and going. And eventually, I had, when his mother was sick, I had gone once. I didn't know, I had forgotten this. He was telling me, he would remind me, saying that, do you remember when my mother was sick, you came all the way to Airoli? And that's how, I was inspired. And he had once in some sickness, jaundice, and I had gone there. So he would remind me years later, thank you for that. And so humbly, he would always, whenever he would introduce me in the program, the Bellapur program or Gita courses and all that, practically his introduction would be a lecture than my lecture. That was his enthusiasm to actually, spontaneity was another name of his lifestyle, and full of heart. His heart was as big as his self. So he would introduce, and he would always say, this is my Shiksha Guru, Radha Gopinath Prabhu. And after he met Gaurang Prabhu, his services went to another dimension. And the kind of services he rendered practically in so many other aspects of Radha Gopinath's community projects. Actually, what 26 Second Avenue is to the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the Bellapur program was for whole of Navi Mumbai. That was like the seed from which the whole tree of Bellapur preaching grew, as many have already expressed. That was like the nerve center from which actually most of the devotees there have actually been contacted, cultivated, and connected to the whole community. And actually, as I said, his announcements at the end, like another Mahaprabhu was another lecture. It was so spontaneous, and actually that's what made everyone feel a part of the family. More than the philosophy, what we would speak. It was his spontaneous, love-filled announcements, and concluding with 3 times, Haribol, that was like, and his heart reflected his house, or his house reflected his heart, full of Krishna. There is no space for anyone else, anything else, other than Krishna, Prabhupada, ISKCON, Guru Maharaj, and Vaishnavas. Nothing else practically. So that was his life actually. He had no other life other than Krishna consciousness. That's all. And I would tell he was a king of hospitality. We hear in the Srimad Bhagavatam how the king would have performed yajna, and after this coronation, he would give his kingdom in the charity to the Brahmanas. And the Brahmanas would generally give it back, most of the time. So in the same mood, at least twice that I once happened to go there, and he had invited and he wanted me to stay overnight because some programs, late night programs, and all that. You won't believe this has never happened in any household, and I'm sure it will never happen ever except Vamshidhar Prabhu's house. And that is, he actually opened his bedroom. He forced me to sleep in his bedroom, and both Janva Priya Mataji and Vamshidhar Prabhu went and slept in that next room. It was a small room there. I was so embarrassed. And in that room, the bathroom was outside, and here was an attached bathroom and all that. And as usual, best of items was cooked. And there itself, after my japa, wonderful breakfast would be provided, so sumptuous. Practically lunch and dinner was also together along with the breakfast. That was his heart, and that was his, hospitality. So truly, his house was actually for devotees. And I would just share one incident of his infectious enthusiasm. And this was really shocking to me. I'd never seen this. Actually, under his building, outside the building in Bellapur, and there was this December marathon, and he was waiting, and there was a cartoon load of books coming. A lot of cartons of books were coming, and all of them came, and it was being unloaded. So a lot of devotees had gathered to probably move it, shift it upstairs and all that. So people started gathering. People who were walking around started gathering because it was just what happens in India when everyone can stand. So when people were standing, he started speaking about the importance of books and all that. So one man, he asked, "Ye kya hai isme?" He made the mistake of opening his mouth. Fortunately, he made that mistake. New man. And that person, said, "Kya hai isme? Kya? Box mein kya hai?" And instantly, he picked up the box and handed it over to him. "Ye tumhara hai, le jao. Aisa baad mein return. You give the money later if you want to buy, or you take this home." 30 Bhagavad Gitas within that carton. He just handed him over. And he said, "Ye dusra hai Bhagavatam, lene ke baad ye bhi le jao. Ab baato, nahi baato, le aao. Mahine ke ant mein le aao." And that person was speechless. He just kind of took it. He couldn't refuse. With a person like Vamshidhar Prabhu speaking, no question of refusing. So, in between, due to some very, very inconceivable circumstances, situations happened in Navi Mumbai where somehow situation turned up in such a way that it appeared that our relationship was a little bit strained. And I was just kind of kept quiet, waiting. And a few 2-3 months later, there was a program at Shanmukhananda Hall where I happened to go, and he was there. And in the interval, we came out. There was a drama going on. Interval, we came out. And first time I saw, very much unlike, he just kind of broke down. He broke down, and we forgot about the drama. We came out, sat there just outside that Shanmukhananda Hall, and we had a very, very heart-to-heart talk, and he expressed, and I also expressed my heart, and, actually it wasn't anyone's fault. It just happened. Situation turned out to be like that. And after that, I am so happy. I felt so happy that we could do that. And this time when I went to meet him at his house, when he was lying down right at the feet of their lordships, I only put my head down at his feet and begged for forgiveness, that not understanding his nature, not understanding his style of expressing his dedication and gratitude, in case I had, in my immaturity, and that's my kind of, I'm not a kind of a manager, so in my interactions with him or certain decisions, probably he had felt hurt. I specifically went that day, and I didn't want to go to that last journey, because I want to see him as Vamshidhar. I know him, so he, as Radhapati Prabhu said, he actually skyrocketed from one particular time into, like becoming a mentor, a servant leader of the mentor system, eventually a counselor. I hardly heard him speaking any philosophy. I never heard him speaking any philosophy. But he lived the philosophy. He actually lived every bit of that philosophy throughout his life, and even in his departure, the accepting the situation. It is said, behind every successful man is the hand of a woman. And Her Grace Janma Priya Mataji is that saintly woman, such sweet-hearted, such loving, truly a saintly person at heart, who amazingly supported a personality, boisterous, spontaneous personality like Vamshidhar Prabhu, and how he reciprocated that by absolutely serving her, truly being in the mood of servant of the servant, in her sickness. And even the last days when I had gone to the hospital, I was expecting another, but when I saw Janma Priya Mataji, the way she kind of was trying to understand and accommodate, accept, and I am sure that if it was the other way around, he would not have. It's been very difficult for him to kind of survive. So Krishna has, in his inconceivable way, taken him first. And I only praying, and all the congregation devotees are with Janma Priya Mataji, and I pray to Gopinath ji to give her the strength and the intelligence to see this in proper perspective and move ahead in my life. Jai. His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, for your candid sharing. And now I request Her Grace Janma Devi, Janma Priya Devi Mataji, to kindly tell us your experiences, your lifetime with Prabhu. We are waiting to hear, and we know you have been the backbone of his life, and it is your parents who actually brought both of you all to Krishna consciousness. And for that, I remember Prabhu was always eternally grateful. He was so grateful, so respectful to your parents. With that, over to Janva Priya Mataji. And after that, we will have the slideshow. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanath Swami Iti Namani Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami. Prabhu was a very emotional and caring person right from the day I saw him. His only goal at that time, before we came to Krishna consciousness, we were married for the beginning stages of my life, or even say even before we got married, his only goal was that you have to serve my mother very well. You have to please her, and she has done so much for me, for our family. She has brought us up with great difficulty. So you should adjust to her and you should please her. She will never ask you to do something, but you have to see that things are done properly. So if you are ready with this, say, condition, then we'll get married. So I said, I'm totally ready for this because I love to be with elderly people right from my childhood. So I said, yes. So he was very loving and caring to all the people in the house. He went abroad, earned a lot of money, and whenever he used to come, he used to buy gifts for all his brothers' children, sisters' children, and he used to make prasadam for them, make sweets for them, whatever they like. In this way, he was that kind of a person. That was his nature right from the beginning. It was because his parents had brought him up like that. So all credit goes to his parents also for giving him all the good qualities. When he was not in Krishna consciousness, obviously he had all material association and he enjoyed with them, saw life that way. But when he met the devotees, his life completely changed. My father and my mother and my father brought us to Krishna consciousness. Actually, they were counselees of Muralidhar Prabhu and they were serving very nicely in the temple. My Prabhuji took his time to come to Krishna consciousness, but when he came, he was fully convinced. He was very much inspired by Prabhupada starting the movement at the age of 70. And whenever he has to inspire anybody in the counseling group or anyone who is just somehow got steady in Krishna consciousness, he used to always repeat this message. Prabhupada did so much for us at the age of 70. So at this age, in our young age or middle age, we should do our best. So we cannot imitate Prabhupada, but we have to follow his footsteps. As devotees say, he used to love Prabhupada. I don't think he has read Prabhupada Leelamrit fully, but he was very much inspired by Prabhupada. And he loved Guru Maharaj very much. Guru Maharaj was always in his heart. Many times he used to say, always be thankful to Guru Maharaj for everything that he has given us. And his motto was think big. Many of the things which I am speaking is already told by the devotees. He heard in one lecture that if we can touch the sky, if we try to touch the sky, maybe we can touch the roof. So that was his motto, think big and do the best for Prabhupada's mission. And the way of his expression was like when for material things, for example, like we want a job, we want a promotion, we want some increment. So for that, we go out of the way to do everything to please the boss. So when we have come to spiritual life, we should have the same attitude that I should do my best so that my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada will be happy with me. So we should not leave any stone unturned. So this way he became a perfectionist. Whether it is placing a small flower in the altar or even placing a book or, whether he is cleaning his clothes, till the end, he never allowed anybody to clean his clothes. He said, as long as my body is fit, I like to clean my clothes and I like to dry it. So he was totally independent. So there was a servant to clean the clothes, but he never did that. And his passion was at least every Saturday he used to prepare poha for the Lord, for Gornitai. That other days I don't get time. So this is the service for me for the Lord. So every Saturday morning, gathering all the vegetables, cutting it very meticulously, everything, and he used to put his heart and soul. His thing, what I have noticed in him, whatever he did, he put his heart and soul into it. So if somebody, and he always told me, I am not doing this for any appreciation, whether I am giving donation or whether I am doing some cooking service or I am taking care of you or taking care of the congregation. I am not doing anything for being appreciated. So even if I am misunderstood, it is okay, because I know that from the heart I am doing for Prabhupada. So that was his thing. He had a very dynamic nature right from the beginning of his, of course, maybe birth, because mother used to say he used to be very naughty, and they used to play a lot of pranks, and then very dynamic nature. He is not a person who can just sit in a corner and read something. That was not his thing. But his dynamic nature got molded properly when he came in the association of Guru Maharaj and the association of devotees. He got the mercy. So his dynamic nature got streamlined properly. All the things which he liked to do in his material life, for example, taking people to hotels or giving them gifts, and all those things which he did in his material life, all these things he did the same thing in his spiritual life. But all those things became an opportunity for him to serve the devotees. So I am very glad that because of his nature was molded in such a way that he could use everything in a Yukta Vairagya way. I am very grateful to Guru Maharaj for all the mercy and blessings we received in our time of crisis. In fact, I say that only because of Maharaj's prayers, I have been able to be steady, and I know life is not going to be so easy for me, but still, because Gurudev's blessings and mercy is there, I will be able to continue. I try to remember all the instructions which Maharaj had given in so many Bhagavatam classes, that this place is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, and it is a place of misery, and Padam Padam Yad Vipadam Natesha. So all these things, when we actually go through it, then we know that this is the reality, and it is not just Maharaj giving us a very good lecture and we falling asleep in the middle of the hall and not caring for the instructions which he gave. So these things, all the small slaps which we get in this world actually wakes us up in Krishna consciousness. So it may be a very difficult life for me, but sure, I am very thankful to the Lord that he did not suffer more, because I don't think he will be able to take that much of suffering. And Krishna's arrangement, Maharaj's mercy that I got, that he got such a beautiful association. He came to the hospital and he had we chanted for him, Maharaj chanted for him. There was always Kirtan going on. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra's darshan was going on. So he was spiritually taken care of very well. The spiritual care department took care of him. Every doctor, every attendant, everyone in the Bhaktivedanta Hospital took care of him. And those who were not part of the medical team, all of them prayed for them. And there was a group of devotee doctors who were all the time discussing with each other how to improve his health. And there are so many devotees, I cannot even name them, because if I name some of them, then I may just be offensive to others. But one or two names I have to take one or two names. One is Gaurang Prabhu, who took the decision that I should bring him to Bhaktivedanta Hospital. And another is Gaurang Prabhu's mother, who gave us shelter throughout my stay in Meera Road. And one is Sri Gaur Kirtan Prabhu, who has been with me throughout. Even now he is with us, and he is trying to help me in all the bank matters. What else can I do? This is all I have to say. So many things can be said, but many of the things which I want to say, all of you have already covered seeing him. And thank you very much for everything. And please pray for me so that I will remain steady in devotional service. Of course, Prabhuji had some misunderstanding with devotees, and that also later on he realizes is all for my purification. And he was quite repentive, and he tried his best to make up with those devotees with whom there was some misunderstanding. And Radha Gopinath Prabhu, yes, Radha Gopinath Prabhu was always in his heart. Shiksha Guru, we can never forget. Because of his presence, because of his encouragement, we started our Krishna consciousness. Murlidhar Prabhu, Nitya Krishna Prabhu, pillars of Sion congregation. Whatever we did in Bellapur is all just a branch of Sion congregation. Sion congregation is our mother, and we are the children of Sion congregation. So I'll be eternally grateful to all devotees who have took care of us in all this. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Janva Priya Mataji. We are with you at this time of your grief. But I also want to say that what a glorious departure Prabhuji had. Just like you mentioned, he left his body in the most auspicious time, Brahma Muhurat, on a very auspicious date. And he had all the devotees chanting for him with Ganga Jal in his mouth, Tulsi, everything. You made the arrangements, all the devotees made the arrangements with all the Mahagalans. And I know that you, Mataji, you told him, you whispered in his ear that Prabhu, don't think of anything else. Just think of Krishna. Don't worry about anything else. This is the biggest thing that you could have done for him, the biggest service to him. Thank you so much for your example, for your shining example. You truly are the most ideal wife. Hare Krishna. And now we move on to the slideshow. And I wish that Sridham Sakha Prabhu is ready after this.
Oh, hey, Vaishnav.
But I have another event. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Mataji, we are very grateful to you for all the services you gave us everywhere, whether it is Annamrita Foundation or Govardhan Village. And I still remember in Jagannath Puri when this Govardhan Ashaya, people were coming to register themselves, and daily were coming to the counter and asking me how many people have registered. And I told you also, Maharaj, this is what it is, the story.
Vaishnava Thakura Dayada Sagara Hidase Koruna Kore Diya Pada Chaya Shoda He Amar Diya Pada Chaya Shoda He Amar Tumara Charana Dhore Vaishnava Thakura Dayana Sagara Hidase Koruna Kore Chaya Begodami Chaya Dosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Dehodase Chaya Begodami Chaya Dosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Dehodase Chaya Sat Sanga Deho He Amar Chaya Sat Sanga Deho He Amar Boschi Sangidase Ye Kaki Amar Nahi Payebo Hare Namo Sankirtane Ye Kaki Amar Nahi Payebo Hare Namo Sankirtane Tumi Kripa Kori Sada Bindu Diya Tumi Kripa Kori Sada Bindu Diya देह कृष्ण नाम धने कृष्ण से तुमा कृष्ण दीते पारो तुमर शक्तिया छे कृष्ण से तुमा कृष्ण दीते पारो तुमर शक्तिया छे आमी तो गंगा ओए वैष्णव ठाकुर आमी तो गंगा कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली दायित्व पाछे पाछे आमी तो कंगाल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोली दायित्व पाछे पाछे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर ए दसे करुणा करे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Thank you for that beautiful slideshow. And with that, I now ask Sridham Sakha Prabhu to kindly give your offering. And I request all the devotees, please be brief because we have very little time left. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So I thank Baldev Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to speak about this wonderful devotee, Vamshidhar Prabhu. And I offer my obeisances to Gurudev and all the assembled Vaishnavas. So actually, when we came to Krishna consciousness, we were fairly new at that time. Krishnanand Prabhu used to meet us, and he used to always express this desire that there should be preaching in Navi Mumbai, and he felt that, there's a lot of potential there, and he expressed his desire. And as a result, I really feel as a result of his desire, two wonderful Vaishnavas, two soldiers arose there. One was His Grace Madan Murari Prabhu, and second was Vamshidhar Prabhu. Vamshidhar Prabhu actually burst on the scene. He literally burst on the scene somewhere in the late 90s. I remember we were attending, I think, Srila Prabhupada's appearance day festival. And at the end, when, the the Pushpa Abhishek was being done, at that time, there was this devotee, suddenly very loudly, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, very loud. So I was very taken aback, the enthusiasm, the loud, powerful voice, booming voice. It reminded me of Mahaprabhu Prabhu, and I thought that, here is another person who's come, to assist Mahaprabhu Prabhu. And many people spoke about the fact that how he used to make these announcements in the Science program 3 times, very specific, very unique way of enthusiastically, welcoming newcomers, welcoming all the devotees, and glorifying the speaker of the program. Of course, his contribution to the Navi Mumbai zone, we cannot even imagine. He invited Gaurang Prabhu several times. started doing some very large scale programs. He invested his personal money. It's not that it was coming from elsewhere. He was putting his own money, and as many devotees said, it was about creating a fantastic experience. Everything that he did was about creating a fantastic experience for the Vaishnavas, so that they feel attracted to the movement. He's a very powerful leader, and we can see his stamp actually in that entire zone from Airoli to all the way to Panvel and Uran. Vamshidhar Prabhu is a very powerful leader. All the devotees, the senior devotees in that zone, entire belt, they recognize and understand what was his contribution and what was his role in that entire congregation. He was also like a father to his own counselees, and very loving, very compassionate. He pushed them forward for services. He pushed them for initiation. Very generous. A lot of devotees spoke about this. He would take us to Govindas for prasad. Even in the all councillors meeting in GV, he would sometimes invite us, to offer this blue drink. Some in that slideshow, there was one photograph showing some devotee sitting with him having that particular blue drink. I don't know what that is. He used to enjoy it, and when he used to enjoy it, he wanted everyone around also to enjoy it. So he would say, "Chalo, you also have." He said, "No, Prabhu, we're very full. We had a good prasad." He said, "No, you must have," and he would force us. Very generous. Another very important aspect of Vamshidhar Prabhu was that he was very unpretentious. He had no pretensions. He never tried to modify himself. He never tried to put on a show. He was himself. He was himself in all situations. He didn't try to, show that, okay, I am like this. So whatever was in his heart was on his face and in his actions. Very unpretentious. Of course, a very larger than life figure, like someone mentioned that already we lost Venu Krishna Prabhu in this Navi Mumbai congregation, and now another larger than life figure lost, who had a very, very big vision. His vision was big, his actions were big. He always looked to expand the preaching, bring in more devotees, more funds. I mean, fund collection, I doubt there's anybody in this congregation who had the kind of fervor, the kind of vision, the kind of, it's one thing to be a visionary. It's another thing to do it yourself. To distribute books yourself, to collect funds yourself. He used to do it himself. The vision was big, it was bold, it was fearless. He was not afraid of anything. He was not afraid to speak his mind. He's not afraid to, do big things. He used to push devotees to think big. Even the drama festival, he always had this desire that drama festival is happening in a very small hall. We should have it in Shanmukhananda so that more people can attend. And he was very systematic. I think Keshav Prabhu mentioned that, extremely systematic in the way he would approach donors. He didn't like to do a slipshod manner. He wanted to do it very, very thoroughly. He would, make presentations and everything very nicely, very systematic. A sold out soldier to Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and especially he loved Gaurang Prabhu as well. I think this is something which was he was very, very close to Gaurang Prabhu. Attended all his Srimad Bhagavatam lectures. Very uncompromising person. He was uncompromising. He would not, I would not make. And if he didn't agree with something, he would very vocally express his reservation, which is a beautiful thing, because he did not believe in keeping it in his mind. He would always say, I don't like to, keep it in my mind and then talk behind someone's back. I prefer to tell on the face that I don't like something that you're doing. He was fearless to express. And that didn't stop him from serving, and the fact that he's unhappy, there were like Muralidhar Prabhu mentioned, there were phases where he was unhappy. I think Gopinath Prabhu also mentioned he was unhappy about certain things, but it didn't stop his enthusiasm. It didn't stop him from serving. Even if he was unhappy about certain things, as far as service was concerned, he was always full enthusiasm. So a wonderful devotee, wonderful elder brother for all of us. We used to call him boss because, very often he would call devotees boss. And because he called so many people boss, people started calling him boss. And whenever we would meet and say, boss, how are you? Kaise ho? How are things? So I'm just wondering that whom will we call boss now? We have lost a wonderful devotee. And I pray that, Shri Radha Gopinath and all the congregation devotees of Navi Mumbai, can carry forward his grand vision, carry forward his his desire to bring more and more devotees to Krishna consciousness, distribute more books, collect more funds for Shri Radha Gopinath, and support Her Grace Janama Priya Mataji in every way possible for the rest of her journey. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sridham Sakha Prabhu, for your heartfelt offering. And now I request Her Grace Braj Leela Mataji and His Grace Nitya Krishna Prabhu, please kindly present. But I beseech you to please be brief because we still have many devotees left who would like to speak. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. My humble obeisance to Guru Maharaj and all the Vaishnava devotees. As the name suggests, Vamshidhar, you are carrying that Vamshi to preach Krishna consciousness, to spread the Krishna consciousness in everything in a big way, not a small way at all. You always used to do, even prasadam, you used to see that the prasadam quantity, quality was such that it should inspire others so that they can come again. And you're such a dynamic, you were daring, and he was a one-man show. Where there was preaching, somebody did not come, he used to go and sit on Vashasana and he used to deliver the lecture. And when there is, for research making, there is no people available, he used to go himself to his kitchen and he used to see that the prasadam is made properly. So whatever he did it in a very big scale. And he was true to his words, thought and action. He never compromised on his thought, his words and action. And he never criticized anybody. He always praised everybody. And his very important slogan is that Mayadas Sada Udas, Krishnadas Bindas. Even his passing away from this material world, he showed how he was never Udas, but he was always Krishnadas, so he was always blissful. One incident I would like to tell that recently when I had gone to a temple, to the hospital, that time Janama Priya Mataji was introducing me to somebody else. And she was saying, he is my counselor. Immediately, Prabhu corrected. Don't say he is my. He say he is our counselor. So even the consciousness which was there even during that time is very, very important. So he did not want anything for him. He always thought of others and how to please others. So I can still appreciate whatever he has done for our Guru Maharaj, for the ISKCON and Prabhupada in general. And the voice he had, he was like a lion roaring, but at heart he was very mild. And anybody could approach him. And whatever the mistakes he would try to find, he would try to see that it is corrected. At the same moment, not making offended. So I wish I had some of these qualities. I pray at the feet of their Lordship to bestow their blessings on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can I say? I think all the qualities of Vamshidhar Prabhu has been repeated. Already been told. There's nothing more. But one thing was he was fearless and outspoken. And also he didn't tolerate injustice to devotees. He used to fight for that. He used to give his opinion openly. And he used to speak boldly. He was very bold. He used to speak boldly. And whatever he did, he is up to 100% he used to do. So that's all I can say. And I pray to Shri Radha Gopinath that wherever he has taken them, of course, he will be continuing his services as a lion only there also. And we like to follow in his footsteps also. And I pray that Lord Gopinath will give strength to Her Grace Janama Priya Mataji and continue her services following in the footsteps of Sri Vamshidhar Prabhu, and which she will definitely do. She is very strong in Krishna consciousness. My humble obeisances to Srila Gurudev and all the Vaishnavas. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Prabhuji, Mataji, you all have been extremely instrumental in the formative years of the Krishna consciousness of Janva Priya Mataji and His Grace Vamshidhar Prabhu, and we really thank you for that, your contribution towards that. Hare Krishna. And now I request Bal Swarup Prabhu, and after that, Sri Sakhi Mataji to kindly be ready, and I request you to please be brief. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. My respectful obeisances to my Guru Maharaj and all the assembled devotees. Vamshidhar Prabhu possesses many qualities, and today I would like to dwell upon some of his prominent qualities. One of the qualities he possessed was he was a magnanimous soul, and you know that he was black in complexion. So he often used to tell me, "Hum kale hai to kya hua, but dil wale hai." And truly, he was a magnanimous soul, and his heart was big enough to accommodate all of us in Navi Mumbai. I remember distinctly when I shifted to Navi Mumbai in 2008. I didn't know anyone here. I got his number from some devotee, and I called him. So when I called him for the first time, he said, "You can directly come to my home and stay with me at CBD Bellapur." And this was really unbelievable. We didn't know each other then, but he extended himself so much for me to make me feel home. So since then, our relationship was like that of a father and a son. So after a few years, when I felt sick, I remember my family was not around, and he came to my home. He took me to his home, where I stayed there for almost 4 to 5 days, and I got recovered. But at that point of time, both Vamshidhar Prabhu and Janva Priya Mataji saw me like their child for 4 to 5 days. I also remember when I decided to buy a new home at Navi Mumbai, he came with a few lakhs of rupees to help me in down payment. And it's not only with me, but with everyone in Navi Mumbai. He reciprocated like this. And that's why he holds a very special place in everyone's heart. He developed in Navi Mumbai a community where everyone we can stay together like a family and practice Krishna consciousness together. He also developed a very, very good relationship with everyone, irrespective of age, be it a child or old person or a brahmachari. And that was primarily because of his friendly nature and helping nature. You know that Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that was his mood, and he would consider everyone as his family member. He would take everyone along with him in book distribution or any event, even for a prasadam, everywhere he would take everyone and he would conduct program. I remember, we know that Radha Gopinath temple is so far away from Navi Mumbai, and we were missing that kind of atmosphere in Navi Mumbai. So he created a temple away from temple, Radha Gopinath temple. He created an environment like Radha Gopinath temple at Navi Mumbai, and gave us an opportunity, ample opportunities for seva. So I just give one example of cooking seva, which we would start early in the morning on Saturday, every Saturday, which would last up to 5 p.m. and then we would go home. We would come back again for the program. We would stay till 11 o'clock in the program. So entire day was filled with so many sevas. And in this way, he created oasis in the desert like Navi Mumbai, which is far away from Radha Gopinath temple. He never compromised in quality and quantity as well when it comes to serve Srila Prabhupada. I remember he would often tell me, what we are doing for Srila Prabhupada is nothing in comparison with what he has done for us. So in gratitude, we should do all our program in a way to uphold the name of Srila Prabhupada. I still remember he said, anyone who comes to the program should leave the program with the appreciation and gratitude for Srila Prabhupada. And to give such experience to everyone He never compromised with the quality and quantity of the program. And he's known for his uniqueness. He's unique in many ways. He's unique in his action, his decision, and his approach. I remember everyone knows that how impactful his announcement was, his kirtan was, and he was unique in book distribution as well. We remember he would set up a big pandal, large pandal in front of Balaji temple, where all Navi Mumbai devotees would assemble and do book distribution. Entire day we would dance in kirtan and distribute the book. He would arrange for prasadam for everyone throughout the day, in the afternoon as well as in the evening. So he would convert. He knew the art of converting every event into the festival. So that was Vamshidhar Prabhu. He was unique in fund collection, as many devotees have mentioned, and he was unique in rewarding the people for his seva. You know that he would reward with trophy, and you go and visit everyone's home in Navi Mumbai, there'll be at least one trophy with his in his home. And I remember he even gave it one trophy to an auto driver. He was a Muslim background, and he gave it to him a trophy. So in this way, he would make all of us feel that we have achieved something in reciprocation with our little seva. He was unique in temple. For example, you know that the idea and concept of a big home temple altar that comes from him. He has a temple big, like 6 feet long and 5 foot tall in his home, and he inspired all his councillors to have such a big temple. So if you visit Navi Mumbai and devotees' home, you would find a big, large altars and big deities everyone's home. He was his seva. He was like a Hanuman. He believed in making a giant leap like Hanuman. I remember one humorous pastime with him. We were returning from, it was a hot day in the month of May. We were returning from Radha Gopinath temple after a Sunday feast program, and we wanted to have ice cream. So we entered an ice cream shop, and I ordered my favorite flavor of ice cream, one scoop. And I asked him, what would you like? What is your favorite flavor? So he ordered 6 to 7 flavors. And I told him, are you eating here, or you are taking home? He said, I will eat here all these scoops. So he ate all the scoop. For example, 1 spoon of ice cream was equivalent to 1 scoop from him. So every step, it was like a giant step for him. He conducted GCL in Navi Mumbai. It was the first Gita Champion League in Navi Mumbai, where the highest number of participants took part, and he took care of each and every student participating in this Gita Champions League. And you know that he was one of the main leader in Radha Gopinath temple. He not only organized as a leader, not only organized the big program in Navi Mumbai, but he developed all of us in organizing this program at our respective places. Now we have 6 to 7 centers apart from Bellapur where program is going on. So all these centers are like offshoot of CBD Bellapur, which he started. And he also developed in preaching by giving us opportunity to deliver lecture in the program through mentorship and to counselorship. I remember some of his key instructions, which are reverberating in my mind always. The first instruction he gave us: comparison, criticism, and complaining are the 3 cancers of the mind. So avoid them. Second instruction, which I always remember, that serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada without any ulterior motive. And third one, you all know that Maya Das, Sada Udas, Krishna Das, Bindas. And he was truly a Bindas devotee and bold devotee. So he would be always known and remembered for his enthusiasm, for his uniqueness in seva and organizing big events, for his generosity, for his fatherly affection, leadership, and he would be always remembered as an example of dedication to serving Guru and the mission. He was like my father, and we would miss him forever. We will always remain grateful to him, indebted to him for what he has done for us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for those beautiful, sweet memories you have shared, Bal Swarup Prabhu. And with that, I now request Her Grace Sri Sakhi Mataji to give her offering, and Her Grace Anandini Sundari Mataji to please be ready to speak next.
Hare Krishna. My humble obeisance to Sri Radhanath Mata Maharaj and my humble obeisance to all the assembled Vaishnavas. There are no words to describe my gratitude to Vamshidhar Prabhu. He was a very special person to my family. He was a moral support to us. He was very dear to Venukrishna Das. Both were like brothers with very good bonding. He was the one who introduced us to the Airoli congregation. Vamshidhar Prabhu was a person full of joy, happiness, and a person who was very positive in his approach. He was very appreciative. He had very valid solutions to whatever problems he came up with. With full enthusiasm, he would execute all his services. He has always served the congregation. And his famous words are tan, man, dhan. He used to always say, jo bhi karne ka hai, tan, man, dhan se karo. He used to say, whatever we do, we have to do it with full conviction. We have gone to a lot of yatras with Prabhuji and Mataji, and all the yatras were very, very memorable. Even before we bought tickets for my daughter's marriage, he had already purchased his tickets, 3 tickets. Just imagine his enthusiasm. And he was a fatherly figure to my daughter also. Even when he came back from hospital this time, he just, it so happened that I had called him, and he called me back, and he said, Mataji, you know something, my condition was very bad. I was already on my way to meet Venukrishna Prabhu. But all the prayers of Guru Maharaj, of Radhanath Maharaj, and all the Vaishnavas have brought me back to my house again. That's what he said. He said, no, Prabhuji, we can't afford to lose you also. He had a very, very glorious end, I should say. And really, really, he was very, very fortunate soul. So many people were chanting for him, doing special prayers. And because he has done so much to the congregation, we were all very, very obliged, and we were all very happy to do for him whatever we could do from our side right now. So his end only reminded me of a beautiful shloka of Kulashekar Alvar's in the Mukundamala Stotra, where they say, Shatruchadaika mantram sakala upanishad vakya sampujya mantram samsarottara mantram samuchita tamasa sanga niryana mantram sarvaik swarvaika mantram vyasana bhujaga sandashta santana mantram jihve Shri Krishna mantram japa japa satatam janma safalya mantram. I can say Prabhuji has made his life janma safalya by just being in contact with this holy name, by chanting and people chanting for him. He's made his life safalya. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity, Mataji, to talk. Thank you, Haribol.
Hare Krishna. I thank you, Mataji. And now I request Anandini Sundari Mataji to please give your offering, after which I request Anand Ram Prabhu and Shashi Manohar Prabhu to please be ready. Please be brief. We have a few minutes only.
Hare Krishna. Humble obeisances to Guru Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Airoli congregation program was started in 2010 by Vedmata Mataji at my house, and after that, when we wanted to start it in Balaji temple, she told me to call Vamshidhar Prabhu and ask for a speaker. So on my request, Vamshidhar Prabhuji personally came to Airoli, and he introduced me with Venukrishna Prabhu and Sri Sakhi Mataji, and he told me that they will take care of congregation and he will be giving the lecture. That time he supported me like a father, and he was very happy. He said that initially we were staying in Airoli, and we are very happy to see that some small congregation program is developing here. So there are many things which as a neophyte I can learn from him. He was very enthusiastic, supporting, happy-go-lucky, and yet very humble personality. And he had a great quality of appreciation. Though I was doing very little for congregation, he used to appreciate me like anything, which made me, motivated me to do many things for the congregation. He was very good organizer. He used to think very big, to organize big Kirtan Mela, children's program, book distribution, everything. He always kept all the Navi Mumbai congregation together, so that we all felt like, you always feel like a family. He was very vibrant and ready to help everyone. There are many things which we can talk on him, and many other qualities all the senior devotees have talked about him. But I can say only we have lost a great supporter and motivator, and no one can fill this loss. And I pray at the lotus feet of Radha Gopinath to give strength to Janava Priya Mataji, and saying thank you to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Anandini Sundari Mataji. And now I request Anand Ram Prabhu to please give your offering, after which I request Shashi Manohar Prabhu and Madan Murari Prabhu to kindly speak and be brief. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam to all devotees, and please accept my humble verses, Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Great devotees leave behind inspiring memories and teachings. Now, this is just not a saying with Vamshidhar Prabhu. On the day of his departure also, he left a moment of inspiration. Like he was there and we were all there visiting, and there was this, I came across this person, elderly person by the name Mr. Dixit Lu, and he was sharing his memory that Vamshidhar Prabhu happened to meet him some years back, and this is an Annamrit story actually. And he was telling about how the midday meal programs are being organized, and he showed some interest. And the very next day, Prabhuji had calls him and he says that I'll be there at your right at your place. I'm bringing my car, and can go to the one of the kitchen, and you can we can directly go there and have a visit. And he was so enthusiastic that Mr. Dixitlu was unable to say no. He went there, and enthusiastically Prabhuji showed all the kitchen of Annamrita. And when he had just made a gesture to know about this program, and Prabhuji was so enthusiastic in implementing this, he like once he decides, then there is no moment of hesitation, or there is no thinking back. And Dixitlu was telling on the same day of this passage, while he was taking the darshan of Vamshidhar Prabhu, that I was really obliged to make a check and give it to him. So this is like one of the teachings, like great people, great visionaries give us. He is a kingly leader. Actually, many people said he's a king. He is like a lion. Yes, truly he has. And the great quality of a leader is that he generates leaders who will succeed him and support him. And he supported them at every stage. So now in Navi Mumbai, because of his guidance, his approaches, his tactics, his guidance, so many congregation programs, devotional programs are there. And the great part of it was he used to be omnipresent. There was no program where we could not feel the presence of Vamshidhar Prabhu. And it was like remarkable. He was there, and especially in the start of the new congregation programs. I remember in Kharghar, where programs had started with the help of at Santosh Nimai Prabhu's place and Balsupla place, at my place. Prabhuji happened to visit each of our homes and used to encourage and guide us, and used to say, we have a vision. We should dream like Prabhupada. We should have at least 20 centers in Navi Mumbai. And yes, we are on the way, and definitely his guidance and exemplary actions will definitely be inspiring to us. And some of the things become some of my personal experience with him was when I on my marriage day, I went to invite him for my marriage, and he said that actually I would love to, but then I was instruction from Govind Prabhu that I should stop attending marriages. I have to slowly plan for my Vanaprastha, and then it was a little not a very good emotion that I had to share. I wanted his presence and Mataji's presence for the kind blessings. But then because he said we cannot be present because of this instruction we have received. So immediately after marriage and the reception on the day, we happened to, on the way back home. So we first visited Prabhuji and Mataji. And as the devotees are saying, the generous gesture of the person, spontaneously he takes one of the very, very rare photographs in his home. The village of Srila Prabhupada is still there as a momentum from him, and he gives it to me. It's a very large size photograph, very rare, very not easily available photograph. And he says, "This is for you, Anandram and Advijpriya," and unforgettable experience. And during my time of the first marriage anniversary, we used to have a lot of programs, of course, but we never used to have a program where devotees, already existing devotees, would calmly and have a piece of time and have a nice Ishta Goshti. So we had a small discussion. I was just expressing like, is that can we have an opportunity where two counseling groups, that is Madan Murai Prabhu's counseling group and your own counseling group, we can all have a nice Ishta Goshti. And then he was spontaneous. He said, "My home is open." And so then he opened his door, which is a Vaikunta actually. It's one of the Bhuloka Vaikunta, to both the counseling groups. And it was a very nice Kirtan program and a nice prasadam and a feast organized for all the devotees. Next was one of the moments, like the concept. This is a very rare concept I've never heard in ISKCON. That is something called as a joint grand deity welcoming program. And this, we never understood what was the vision. Slowly I am able to understand, like each one of the devotees have a deity welcoming, and then the different days, different people will be welcoming their deities, and entire congregations are coming. So there will be so many multiple programs. So he said, let us have an exemplary program. So like that, we had like 3-4 years, we had a big mega size joint grand deity welcome program, like 3-4 devotee families were welcoming their deities. So again, I'm very obliged to Janva Priya Mataji and Vamshidhar Prabhu for helping us to welcome the deities at our home and many other devotees. Also, I also see Vamshidhar Prabhu as a very great team player. That is like when the CDD in Navi Mumbai was formed. So we were very apprehensive, like how will Prabhuji cooperate? He's very senior, and we are comparatively new and younger people. But he never made us feel like that. And when the time came as an instruction and appeal from the temple that all the senior devotees, even if they are initiated, should do an IDC course. And coincidentally, I had this opportunity to organize a IDC course, and Prabhuji said one day that I would like to enroll for this course. And then for the first time, I could see how good he is a participant. So whatever activity he does with a full flow. And he was one of the teams. And coincidentally, today I met one of the participants in the team in the IDC course, and he was telling, like, Prabhuji was actually demonstrating how to do book distribution. They were given a skit in the IDC course. Groups were given some skits, and in the skit, their group chose how to do book distribution. And Prabhuji took the lead role. His most fond service of book distribution, he was directly demonstrating how you should do book distribution, and they did a very nice skit. And I was like thinking, like, oh, so even senior devotees can, such senior devotee can take up this such nice role of doing this, being a very nice participant. And a small request from Mrinali Mataji, who is a real daughter in spirit, and she has requested to speak some 2-3 lines. And I know there's shortage of time. and she says that all the girls, the devotee girls whom they got married, they see to him as their actual father, and they have helped. He has helped them very in all their aspects of life with love. And not only that, the devotee boys who are getting married, he is also very considerate that he welcomes their wives as his own daughter-in-laws. So all the devotees, all the children, all were actually were in spirit relatives for him, and always helpful. So Vamshidhar Prabhu, yes, we will definitely face his physical loss, but I would love and pray to Sri Radha Gopinath ji that I will always remember his memories and teachings, and by his teachings, instructions and demonstrations, he will be always with us. And by his this instruction, like everybody speaking, this Maya ka das, Sada udas, Krishna ka das, Bindas. So we'll give you a very solace to be pushing our ISKCON movement in the further years. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Anand Ram Prabhu, for your sincere offering. And now I request Shashi Manohar Prabhu and Madan Murari Prabhu to kindly give your offerings one after another. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. My humble obeisances to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, my spiritual master. My humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. So my association with Vamshidhar Prabhu started in 2009 when I was introduced by Balswarup Prabhu. And in the very first meeting, even though he didn't know me, he embraced me so tightly and with so much love and affection that I was surprised how much love and affection he has even for devotees who are not known to him. And immediately he asked me to take a rented flat in his society. And that was my great fortune that I got to stay very close to him for almost 3 years. And during those time, I got to see the wonderful Vaishnava qualities which Vamshidhar Prabhu had. First of all, I got two benefits. One, I was immediately engaged in devotional service in Bellapur congregation program. And I could see Prabhuji's dedication, devotion for the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Even though he was facing so much challenge from the society members, he was facing non-cooperation from devotees who would not come up for the program on time. And even they would not come for the programs. But still he was whole and soul in conducting the programs. And his dedication, his preparedness for programs, his enthusiasm became the gold standard for Navi Mumbai congregation. The second benefit which I got by staying very close to him was the personal association. He would call me in the morning for chanting. We would chant together. He would read from Srila Prabhupada books. We would have breakfast together. And that close association gave me so much of his spiritual nourishment that became the foundation of my spiritual life. He also encouraged me to give lectures in Hindi. And he would point out so many mistakes and rectifications, which I'm very grateful to Vamshidhar Prabhu. He was very jolly, very happy. But whenever I used to give lecture, I used to be very serious, very grave. And he was always encouraged me to be happy, be smiley. Yes, Vamshidhar Prabhu, you brought a smile to my face. You brought a smile to the so many devotees in Navi Mumbai congregation. And you are part of every family. Every family considers you part of their family, and you consider everyone to be part of your family. You imbibe the feeling of Vasudev Kutumbakam. You never called your home as your home. You always called it is 603 building number 3 or Prabhupada's quarter. You never had attachment for anything material. And as everybody mentioned that you always wanted devotees to be inspired by Prabhupada's dedication. What he did at the age of 70, you always mentioned this, and you gave inspiration to all of us. Thank you so much. Because of paucity of time, I am stopping my offering. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for being brief, Shashi Manohar Prabhu. And now I request Madan Murari Prabhu to please speak. And shortly we will have Gurudev, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, give his offering. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My obeisances to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Dear Vamshidhar Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Prabhuji, I can't believe that I am writing a Shraddhanjali offering to you. Very hard to believe that you are no more with us. First, Venukrishna Prabhuji left us due to COVID, and now you. Certainly, it is a tough time for Navi Mumbai devotees to bear your loss. Although your shining example will continue to inspire us always. What can I say about you? Like others have mentioned already, that you are such a dynamic personality, expert in every field. Let it be book distribution, arranging big programs, fundraising, and in a grand way, leading the entire Navi Mumbai congregation by being a huge support to each and every devotee here. But one uniqueness was that you could connect to each and every devotee, let be old one, middle-aged person, or a little boy. You can very well connect with them and be their friend. You are endowed with so many wonderful qualities that it would be difficult to express it. But what I have admired is, although you are a so busy person in the temple doing a lot of services and work commitments, because they were very huge, yet you so beautifully knew the art of caring for your family. Many a times you tend to take family members, we tend to take family members granted if we are too busy. But the way you cared for Janva Priya Mataji has been so very inspiring. We got to witness this from your initial days. Whatever you did, you always saw to it that Mataji is comfortable. I remember you once mentioned that I wash my own clothes daily. Why should I trouble my wife for that? And you continued doing it till you went to the hospital. After Mataji went to that big health crisis, you took such wonderful care of her. Daily chopping the vegetables for her, helping in cleaning the house so that Mataji doesn't have to do much. Even during our conversation in last few months, not once did you speak about your physical pain, but you only concerned with Mataji's health. In all these years, we have attended many marriage ceremonies and heard how a role of husband should be that providing physical, emotional, and spiritual care to his wife. But you are a shining example of this. Not only did you love and care for Mataji, but you were so inspired by her and you always felt proud of her. In our last conversation over the phone, just a week before your departure, you were glorifying Janva Priya Mataji so much, saying that how strongly she stood and faced this calamity all alone. All this appreciation shows how you respected her. Such combination is very rare to find someone who is serving in the front line for so many temple projects, yes, being so sensitive, loving, and caring for his family members. Thank you, Prabhuji, for all your love and affection for all these years. We are very grateful to you. We pray that we can serve you through serving Janva Priya Mataji the way it would please you. Seeking your blessings, your servant Madan Murari Das and Madhvi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Madan Murari Prabhu. And now I request His Grace Baldev Prabhu to just say a few words, even though he was very cognizant of the time being short. I request you to please speak, Baldev Prabhu, and after that we will have Guru Maharaj speak. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for organizing this memorial. I hope I am audible to everyone. Yeah. So my connection with Vamshidhar Prabhu happened around 18 years back when I was told to do youth preaching in Navi Mumbai in 2003. We went to a empty flat in Nerul where Gauranga Prabhu, myself, and few brahmacharis went and broomed the whole place. It belonged to Dayanidhi Prabhu and we wanted to start some youth preaching there. And the whole day was gone in cleaning the place. So Gauranga Prabhu just called Vamshidhar Prabhu, who had also shifted to Navi Mumbai that time, and told that there are some brahmacharis here who are very hungry, so please feed them. So he got a very big feast all the way from his home to the Nerul base and he served all of us. That was my first meeting with Vamshidhar Prabhu. And Gauranga Prabhu told him that, now this Baldev Das will come to preach here and then you kindly help him in taking care of devotees in the base. And since that time, 18 years down the line, Vamshidhar Prabhu has through and through helped us so much in the youth preaching. So many devotees who came in the base, they got so much of love and appreciation from him. Many of the devotees in the base gradually became grahasthas, they became his counsellors. And the journey is still going on. Actually, it's very difficult to speak about I still feel where should I start and where should I end? 18 years down the line, I've been serving along with him in Navi Mumbai for many, many years. And as I see that many devotees spoke beautiful pastimes, stories about him, how he could connect a chord with even a small child and up to great spiritual masters also. And I felt like that because he was very childlike. You know, a child is always appreciated by anyone, right? From a small child, children would appreciate a small child. Even the elderly people also appreciate a small child. Vamshidhar Prabhu's innocence was like a child. I could see that innocence coming up. In spite of his leadership position in Navi Mumbai, he always maintained that childlike position. I'll just give you some small briefs of how he was a childlike person. One day I was in a Bellapur program, and this happened many times. I'm just giving one program. So I was sitting with him and I was honoring Prasadam, and he was going around all devotees and talking with them, and he came and sat next to me. And with me, next to me, were all base devotees who were also taking Prasadam. So he was talking to me, and he just picked up one papad from the plate of one base devotee and he ate it. The base devotee got shock of his life. He was thinking, Are, such a great leader, he's taking my Mahaprasad, you know. And he was so shocked. I could see the whole face of my that devotee from the base, you know, that he's eating prasadam from his jhuta, from his leftover, that papad which is already beaten by him. He took that, Vamshidhar started eating it. And nonchalantly, he ate something and he felt it's not so good. Again, kept it back in the plate. You eat now. So that was Vamshidhar Prabhu. You just cannot believe what he will do next. Childlike innocence. I also remember many years back when His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was about to leave for America. So Vamshidhar Prabhu got a bunch of kind of notes, lot of rupees, and he told Maharaj, please take. Maharaj was about to enter the vehicle, about to go to the airport. Maharaj, please take. So Maharaj asked, what is this? And Vamshidhar Prabhu said, this is pocket money for you, Maharaj. So Maharaj said, I don't have pocket and I don't need money. Haribol. So that was the innocence which Vamshidhar Prabhu carried, where he could actually get into anyone's heart very easily. And there are so many beautiful anecdotes of how he would connect with each and every devotee in the congregation. Sometimes he would have tough decisions to take and he would be having a little bitter relationship. But the next day he was always there. You know, you could see him sometimes offering obeisance, full obeisance on the road, even to devotees whom he had fought with. So this was Vamshidhar Prabhu, an amazing Vaishnava, and it's a very I still do not believe that I am attending a memorial of Vamshidhar Prabhu. I'm just thinking that Vamshidhar Prabhu is down there somewhere in Navi Mumbai in Bellapur, and when the pandemic is gone, then we'll have many programs with Vamshidhar Prabhu inviting us, and we'll invite Vamshidhar Prabhu to our programs. So Ekaki Amara Nahi Paya Bal. Actually, everyone in our temple, in our Navi Mumbai congregation is feeling this. That Ekaki Amara Nahi Paya Bal. We were all working together with Vamshidhar Prabhu. Now, how that will happen anymore in the future? So, with a heavy heart, we have really lost a very important person amidst us, a caretaker, a fatherly figure, a friend, and this loss is irreplaceable. And there are many devotees who actually did not join the memorial today for speaking because they just could not speak. I could say Gaurang Prabhu is one such example. He's a very vivid speaker. He can speak so long, but he spoke very less. And I know that he was, after his speech, he must have really cried behind his laptop. In fact, on the day when he left his body, Vamshidhar Prabhu, I got a call at 9:30 p.m. from Madhvanand Prabhu, and he said, I'm feeling so heavy after losing Vamshidhar Prabhu, just called you just to open my heart and hear from you. So there are so many devotees in our congregation who are really feeling a big loss, and just hoping and praying that Krishna gives us strength so that we can go ahead and serve Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj without Vamshidhar Prabhu, but taking his spirit in our life. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Baldev Prabhu. And now I request Guru Maharaj to kindly take over, say a few words, share your wisdom with us. Our souls are pained by this loss. Please share some words of solace, Maharaj, and you may do kirtan after that if you please to. Thank you. Over to His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatati Shatarine Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vamshidhar Prabhu, he has brought our whole community together by his life of devotion, his compassion, and his extraordinary contributions. At occasions like this, as it has been said, a departed Vaishnav consumes with great prominence all of our hearts. This year, several of the most beloved devotees of Sri Radha Gopinath's congregation and of ISKCON have departed from this world. As the years passed, we recognize that departed devotees are such a integral part of our community. Krishna tells in Gita, Neha Vikramanasasti, that whatever is done in devotional service is eternal. It is never lost. Krishna consciousness is eternal. Our soul is eternal. And any service we offer in Krishna consciousness is forever. We are not the bodies, we are the souls. The body of a Vaishnava is a great gift to the world, to give us the opportunity to connect and reciprocate with the soul within that body. And when the body inevitably departs, the soul, to whatever extent we remember and appreciate. Vamshidhar Prabhu and all of the other great devotees of our community who have left us are with us. They are very much a part of this community. In our relationships with one another, they have built the foundation and pillars to who we are, what we have with each other. Yes, it is important, even in the grief and heartbreak of separation from these great souls, to remember that in living with each other in Krishna consciousness, we are never separated. Departed devotees are as much a part of the present community as each other. When I go to Govardhan Eco Village and I visit that shrine, which has photos of departed devotees from our community and the greater ISKCON, it's an occasion where I can just look at each photo and have the sweetest, deepest remembrances and appreciations of each and every devotee. And that is with us forever. Thank you, Vamshidhar Prabhu, for being such a very dear, beloved leader of our community. Vamshidhar Prabhu's life was one of total dedication. I never heard him refuse any service. Even if what was asked of him was beyond his capability, he would say, yes, I will try. And as Janavapriya Devi so beautifully explained, he put his heart and his soul in everything he did. His enthusiasm was unstoppable, contagious, and so very deeply attractive to our hearts. He really strived to be kind to all. Whatever he was hearing, whatever he was reading about what it meant to be a devotee, it was his life and soul. To give his everything to exemplify those qualities. He was so prominent in so many services, especially in assisting other devotees and projects. His enthusiasm for book distribution was quite historical. His assistance with various projects of fundraising, the Anamrita, the Bhaktivedanta Hospital, Govardhan Eco Village, Radha Gopinath Temple. He was a leader of fundraising. He was very fearless, very enthusiastic, and put his heart and soul into it, and was the most successful. And his preaching and his devotional caring to the devotees in Navi Mumbai, New Bombay, was something that has endeared him to thousands of hearts. I remember when I came there at the early stages of his helping to develop that project, his incredible enthusiasm, and he just wanted everyone to be included. There were no reservations in his heart in declaring that he was a devotee and how he wanted everyone to join the community of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Over the years in New Bombay, he became a Shiksha Guru, a guide, and so dearly loved by all parts of our community, as was stated to the little children. How much Janavipriya Devi and Vamshidhar put their heart and soul into serving Gauranga Prabhu's parents was amazing. They would regularly come to tell me all details about the service they were entering. Vamshidhar was just so surrendered. When his good wife, Janavipriya Devi, had cancer, while continuing everything else he was doing to his capacity, he was giving his entire life to help her, regularly reporting to me how she was doing. And the love and the care and the time and the gratitude that he had to his wife when she was in a time of need really was extraordinary. And it was so reciprocal. When Vamshidhar Prabhu had his stroke, I was at that time in California, and I called and I spoke with Janavipriya Devi, and I chanted for Vamshidhar Prabhu. And Janavipriya Devi, with such a depth of sincerity in her heart, she was just praying. And she was asking me to pray that Vamshidhar does not think of anything except Krishna. Please help him to remember Krishna and not think of anything else. While Janavipriya Devi was doing everything to help his body, it was all oriented toward praying for his soul. She wasn't even praying, save his life so that he could live a long time. She knew that was in Krishna's hands. Rather, she prayed, let Vamshidhar remember Krishna at every moment and think of nothing else. And it was Krishna's pastime that he improved and returned to his home. Because it was an opportunity for him to really express his gratitude to everyone. His stroke came quite suddenly. I had a beautiful talk with him when he was home. We could see each other because of modern technology. And Vamshidhar Prabhu, he began by offering gratitude. Enormous gratitude for Bhaktivedanta Hospital and each and every devotee who helped him there, and how he was glorifying the service of Bhaktivedanta Hospital with such deep emotion and love. And then he called each and every one of the people who were in the house assisting him and introduced each one to me and explained how grateful he was to all of them. And for most of the conversation, he was glorifying and appreciating the service of Janavipriya Devi, the sacrifice that she had made for him throughout their entire married life, and especially at the time when he was in such great need. He felt total support, total care, and total selfless love from his wife. At that point, there was just nothing material about their relationship. The true glory of Grihastha Ashram was really manifested in the way both of them cared for each other reciprocally when each of them was in life-threatening need. And Vamshidhar Prabhu concluded our discussion by speaking from his heart. He said, "I've already contacted my office. I'm retiring from everything. Through this experience of my stroke and my hospitalization, I understand the temporary nature of life and how precious time is. I am going to dedicate 100% my full energy only to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission. I will accept no other responsibilities." He said, "On this day, I am surrendering to full-time devotional service." Yes, after his stroke, Krishna gave him the chance to come out of the hospital, to see his home again, to express his gratitude, and literally to express to myself, to Srila Prabhupada, to all of our acharyas, his willingness to completely surrender his life. What a perfect state of consciousness. And during that last talk, I never saw Vamshidhar Prabhu so peaceful and with such a serene happiness emanating from his heart. Yes, he was very dear to Krishna. And Shri Radha Gopinath, how they gave him this opportunity to be in a perfect state of consciousness in his inevitable departure from the physical body. The example of Vamshidhar Prabhu, the love, the contributions, they are forever with us. And today I am so grateful to each and every devotee who has spoken such sincere, heartfelt words, and to each and every devotee who Vamshidhar Prabhu has touched with his devotional service. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, dear Gurudev, for your words of solace. We have brought some life back into our parched hearts. Thank you, dear Maharaj. Would you like to sing bhajan?
Let us all offer our heartfelt prayers to Sri Sri Radha Gopinath to shower their mercy upon the eternal soul of Vamshidhar Prabhu. And let us offer the flower petals of our gratitude to him as we sing together the prayers of the departed Vaishnavas. Jaya Nilo Premadana Karuna Prachur
Karuna Prachur
Jaya Nilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur
Jaya Nilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur
Eno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur
Eno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur
Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan
Kahamura Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan
Kahadasaragunata Patita Pavan
Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan
Kahamora Bhata Juga Kaha Kaviraj
Kahamura Bhatta Juga Kaha Kabira
Eka Kole Kota Gela Goranataraj
Ek Kale Kotha Gela Pura Natara
Hasane Kutibo Nata Anale Pasibo
Pasane Kutibo Matha Hanale Pasibo
Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kotha Gele Pabo
Goranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gile Pabo
Se Sangana Paya Kande Se Sabasangira Sange Je Koilo Vilas
Se Saba Sangila Sange Je Koilo Vila
Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamodas
Se Sangana Paya Kade Narottamada
Jaya Nilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur
જે અનિલો પ્રેમ ધન કરુણા પ્રચુર
એનો પ્રભુ કોથા ગેલા આચાર્ય ઠાકોર
એના પ્રભુ કોથા ગેલા આચાર્ય ઠાકોર
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha, Gopinath Radha, Gopinath Radhe.
Jayo Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jayo Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jayo Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Vanshakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patithanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. I express my deep gratitude to dear Gurudev, to dear Janva Devi Mataji, and all the devotees who have shared beautiful, sweet memories of dear Vamshidhar Prabhu. And on behalf of Radha Gopinath Mandir, to all the devotees who have logged on to this program and who have showered their love on Vamshidhar Prabhu and Janva Devi Mataji. Please forgive all my mistakes. I beg forgiveness for the same. And Vamshidhar Prabhu will continue to live forever in our hearts. And Janva Priya Mataji, we are there with you always. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.